The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Jets are reportedly moving on from Aaron Rodgers, and I hate everything about it. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby.
I wanted this job. Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride, and I'm ready for it. It's all about the Jets. This is bigger than me. I look forward to this. We're the freaking New York Jets. We're built for this.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Thanks to the New York Jets for ruining Super Bowl Sunday before it even began. I'm on the radio. I'm doing 3 hours on Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM. And just like when the Jets acquired Aaron Rodgers, it's fitting because I was on ESPN Houston when that officially happened. I was on Sirius XM Mad Dog Radio when we find out from Jay Glazer that they've already told Rodgers they're moving on. And if you don't think Jay Glazer is telling the truth, I mean, please find a different show. I have zero patience for you. Jay Glazer, his batting average is as good as any that reports in any sport. All right? So when he tells you they met with Rodgers and they're moving on, that's what's happening. And I have heard that the Jets will likely make it official tomorrow. They don't want to put anything out there officially with the Super Bowl being on, which makes sense. Like, this is all being reported on. The Jets themselves aren't confirming it. But let's call it for what it is. They're moving on from Aaron Rodgers. And now I want to know what the plan is. Because for all you who said, move on, move on, move on, and I'd say, what's your plan? Your plans all sucked. That didn't involve Aaron Rodgers at quarterback for one more year. They all sucked. So tell me what the plan is now for this regime. Tyrod Taylor for 7 games till he's out for the year with an injury? Jordan Travis, who couldn't even stay healthy to get on the field for one practice this year? We're going to draft someone 7th overall? We're going to sign some other guy in free agency that's going to compete with Tyrod? That's the plan? That's better than the guy who went out there and threw 28 touchdowns and almost 4,000 yards with no coaching, no running game? That's the plan? Okay. Look, I hope they're right. I like Aaron Glenn. He has a right to build the football team the way he wants to build it. I'm just very skeptical that you're a better team next year without Rodgers at quarterback. Now, if you met with Rodgers and he gave you a hard time on learning a new offense, if he refused to take another pay cut to mitigate the dead cap, all right, my opinion will change. So I leave that open for new information to arrive here. But I'm sorry. Anyone who's celebrating this as this is somehow a good day for the Jets, you're a fool. You're a fool. This is not a good day for the Jets. You know what this is? This is a punt on 2025 for the New York Jets. That's what it feels like. Why am I, as a Jet fan, going to be excited about the possibility of the 2025 season if insert whichever journeyman is the quarterback next year? And I love the people in the chat. I'm already seeing it. Oh, they only won 5 games with Rodgers. They could win 5 games without him too. Great. So let's just be bad forever. As if Rodgers is the only reason why they won 5 games this year. Had nothing to do with the defense going from a top 5 unit to a bottom 3 defense in the league. Had nothing to do with the fact that the kicking game alone cost them anywhere from 2 to 3 games this year. It was all on Rodgers. I mean, please. What's the alternative that is better? Hey, tell me what the alternative that is better than Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, because I don't see it. Oh, but Jake, they want to establish a new culture, and you can't do it with Rodgers there sucking out the. It is such a lazy narrative. Why do his teammates all say they want him back? It's such nonsense. Oh, you got to build a culture. You know what? You want to know how you build a culture? You win football games, not by getting rid of a guy who gives you the best chance to win. Build a culture. I mean, I'm already seeing it. Have some faith, Jake. Trust this new regime. Yep, let's keep trusting the process, baby. Let's go. It's been so great these last 14 years. I mean, what's the plan other than going 4-13 now? What's the plan? You're just throwing away next year now. It's all blind hope. Now you're not going to have Devontae Adams either. I mean, give me a break. Let's just keep trusting the process, though. Oh, but Jake, well, what if they go out there and they go 9-8 and they make the playoffs and then Rodgers retires? That's supposed to be a problem? How about we do what Kansas City did, trading up for their quarterback when they already were a playoff team with Andy Reid? Or what Buffalo did after they ended a 17-year playoff drought. They traded up to get Josh Allen. Or I don't know, maybe the Jets find their Jalen Hurts in the second round this year, and that guy could sit and learn behind Aaron Rodgers for one more year. This idea that there's no future if the Jets keep Rodgers for one more year and that somehow missing the playoffs is not a good thing is asinine. And this is just, it really annoys me, man. It really annoys me that this is what they did. I fully expected it. It felt like this was where it was headed, but I still held out hope that they wouldn't do this, that the Jets would actually try to win and do the right thing. Which, unless you tell me what the plan is at quarterback that is better than Aaron Rodgers, you are not convincing me that this is somehow a good thing for the New York Jets. You're not. And let me say this about Aaron Rodgers. I will root like hell for the guy, no matter where he goes, as long as it's not to a team in the AFC East. All right, this guy wanted to come here. He wanted to take on the challenge head on. It's not his fault he got hurt. If you watch the documentary, you saw how he did everything possible to try and help the Jets and still, come back, support Zach Wilson, be a good teammate. Took the largest pay cut in NFL history when he got here. All right, this is the Jets' dysfunction and issues they've had predate Aaron Rodgers, all right? He tried. But the Jet karma, as Beningo would say, engulfed Rodgers. Because that's why he got hurt 4 plays in. It's the only explanation. Because it really is sickening. Oh, but Jake, they won 5 games this year. We're really looking at this team objectively, being like, yep, they're only a 5-win team with the talent they have. Really? The Chargers won 5 games too. Then what? Guess what? They got real coaching. Denver, with real coaching, was in the playoffs. Houston was an abomination when I was there. And then DeMeco Ryans shows up. They're in the playoffs. Coaching matters. The Jets had none of it because his owner fired the head coach who wasn't good to begin with 5 games into the year, which derailed the season. But, it's all Rodgers, this or that. This is not a good thing for the Jets. I hope Aaron Glenn is a great coach. I hope Darren Muji is a great GM. I vehemently disagree with this decision. Vehemently. They got worse today, not better, by moving on from Aaron Rodgers. And watch, he will go somewhere else, and I'm telling you, he will go somewhere else, and he will play well for whichever team brings him in. And all you anti-Rodgers people out there, all you people who couldn't wait to get rid of this guy who threw 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions and almost 4,000 yards, you're going to be sitting there with egg on your face when he goes somewhere else and plays well for that team. Because that is the history of the Jets. That is what is going to happen here. And if you don't think that's happening, you haven't been paying much attention. All right, Aaron Glenn said we're built for this shit. I'm tired of this shit, man. I'm tired of it. What's the harm of one more year with Aaron Rodgers? Oh, but Glenn's trying to establish this. What does that mean? Phillip Rivers won 11 games with Frank Reich and the Chargers the year he was a bridge quarterback. You couldn't do that with Rodgers next year? Like, the fact that Rodgers flew on his plane, apparently, to meet with the Jets tells me he still wants to play. I just think it's a mistake. All right? Get ready for Tyrod Taylor at quarterback for 7 games till he gets hurt, and then what? It makes no sense to me. I'm excited, man. 4 wins. Here we come. Let's go. For those just tuning in, hit the like button, even if you're as disgusted as I am here on Super Bowl Sunday. I wore my Broadway Joe t-shirt today. I was excited to watch this game later. And now I'm disgusted. I don't even want to watch this game later. I don't. All right, I'm doing 3 hours on Mad Dog Radio on Sirius, and this breaks. I'm just like, of course. Even on Super Bowl Sunday, which is fitting, by the way, that we have a decision that moving on from Rodgers on Super Bowl Sunday. The Jets were supposed to be in this game the last 2 years. Or so we thought. But, it's only been since January of 1969, since the last time they played on Super Bowl Sunday. Who's counting? We could just be bad again next year. Why not? Let's just suck. Let's just suck forever. Yeah, we're built for this shit. Now we're tired of this shit. You're not a better team without Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback. You're not. No one has yet to come up with a better plan at quarterback. Because it doesn't exist. It does not exist. And I am so sick and disgusted. This is the path they're going down. I really am. Forever Ron writes in, the Lord of Touchdowns, the return of the Ginger King. If you think Sam Darnold is coming here, I have a bridge I want to sell you. It's not happening. I have a better chance of having a threesome with Sydney Sweeney and Kylie Jenner than Sam Darnold returning to the Jets. It ain't happening. Forever Ron has gifted a membership, though, so for that, I thank you, Forever Ron. Our next raffle, by the way, features 2 big-time prizes. A signed Hall of Fame helmet by the great Curtis Martin and a signed Wayne Corbett jersey. Those are the top 2 prizes for our weekly raffles. We did our 14th and biggest raffle ever this past Friday, for those of you who missed the show from Radio Row. Daniel with a super chat. I just be aware today, people. I am so disgusted. So if you say something dumb, I'm not dealing with it. I don't have the patience for it. If the plan is in the trade up for Ward, I hate this decision. Can't take watching Tyrod getting hurt by week 3 at another meaningless 3-win season. Yeah, I mean, look, if you told me they traded up for Cam Ward, that's at least a plan. But does anyone really want the Jets to trade away a bunch of draft capital for Cam Ward? Is that the guy you're doing it for? I don't know. That feels like a risk. It feels like they would take someone if someone magically fell to 7, but I don't think that's happening. Joseph says, supposedly Garrett wants out now that he's sick of different quarterbacks. So which is it with Garrett Wilson, right? That's why the media is so full of shit on this topic. Excuse my language. He doesn't want to play with Aaron, so that's why he wants out. And now it's, actually, he's tired of the different quarterbacks, so now he wants, no. Here's the reality for Garrett Wilson, who's my favorite player on the Jets. They're going to extend him because that's what you should do. Because he's under contract for 2 more years. He has no control. He could request a trade. The Jets could laugh and say, we're not trading you. I don't think it's going to get to that. They should extend him. It should be one of the first moves Darren Muji does. Tyrone with a super chat. Aaron and Devontae will go to the Steelers and win a Super Bowl, and we'll sit here looking as dumb as always. Damn, this was a very bad mistake. Jet fan in limbo. I mean, it's a mistake. Your ceiling on what you could be as a team now just went down. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers would guarantee anything next year, but at least it would give us a hope. He played the last several weeks like a top half of the league quarterback. Overall this year, he was probably about average, slightly below at times. But how much of that was because they had 0 running game? How much of that was because the coaching was incompetent? I mean, if Rodgers gave you the exact season he gave you this past year on the 2023 Jets with the top 5 defense they had, and Greg Zuerlein, what was he, 35 of 38 on field goals? They win 10 or 11 games easily. Forever Ron, New York, trust the process football team. Yeah, we've been trusting the process. It's 69. Purple Belt Mike, I'd be shocked if G5 doesn't get traded. No retool. This is a full rebuild. We're the Jets. We're built for this constant rebuilt failure, F and BS. If they trade Garrett Wilson, that might be it for me. It's not happening. They're not trading him. Doesn't make any sense. Because you're going to draft a young quarterback. You know what that young quarterback's going to need? A receiver. So then we have to do the old, well, he doesn't have enough weapons to be good. Ugh. So don't trade your weapons. Build around the fact you have 4/5 of your offensive line in place. You have a Garrett Wilson. You have Breece Hall. I don't care who the quarterback is. This team should be able to run the ball a lot better next year. It drove me crazy this year. Yer says, what else are his teammates supposed to say? You want them to bash him in the media? Come on, man. It had to happen. Aaron for one more year isn't it. Okay, so tell me what the plan is, Yer, because you got all the answers, baby. Yer. I'm Yer. We don't need a guy with their 28 touchdowns after we watch Zach Wilson throw 23 over 3 years. Or Sam Darnold throw 9 his last year with the Jets. We don't need that. Let's just move on. Finding quarterbacks is really easy. GTA, agree with you 100%. This effing sucks. Sucks. JV, Glenn meant we build shit. What Glenn meant was welcome to hell, baby. Quarterback hell. We're going right back to it. We're too good for Aaron Rodgers and 28 touchdowns. We're too good for it. Too good for the 4 he threw against the Dolphins in his last game when he's running around looking healthy. Mr. Bonesy is back. Surprised he didn't off himself already. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm done, man. It's over for me. Rodgers and Adams playing for another team will be the end for me. This is disgusting. I get it. Look, they better be right. That's all I'm going to say. Like I'm going to try and be as open-minded as I can be, but this is a mistake. I believe that. Dante says they better get this right when they make a move like this. Yeah, I mean, and the Jets, the one thing we know about the Jets is they have a great history of getting it right. Bang Mateo says the plan is for a better future. Rip the Band-Aid. Why can't we do both? Better future, Bang Mateo. What's your plan at quarterback? You want your old pal Desmond Ridder? You bum. Forever Ron. I'm just hurting bad, Jake. Insert Pedro Pascal meme. I feel you. Kyle says, you maybe think A-Rod didn't want to play by AG's rules. Just a thought. New offense, all that. I mean, if he was not interested in learning a new offense and all that, then my opinion will be different. I don't believe that to be the case. I really don't. Connor Long says, 2025 quarterbacks, Tyrod Stidham, Travis, Hooker, sign Palmer, Keenan Allen, and free. No, get out of here. Gone. You're happy Rodgers is gone? No, Connor. No, you're 13. All right? It's probably going to be a long time till you watch a quarterback put up the numbers Rodgers put up. I'm not happy Rodgers is gone. It was a sad day for the Jets. And it happens on Super Bowl Sunday, too, because, of course, you're happy. Great. I hope you're right. You know, when I was your age, the Jets were going to the playoffs a lot. You know, I actually saw some sustained winning. That'd be nice. Jake, you're being too nice. 4 wins, more like 2. Garrett Wilson won't sign an extension. Request a trade. Frankie's idea of sucking for a quarterback is in full effect. Here comes the tank, baby. Chugga, 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 choo, choo. That's a train, but you get the point. I don't know what sound a tank makes. But I'm going to have to now add that drop. I also have no voice either. I'm so pissed off. Sebastian writes in, Justin Fields, now just think positive. Great. Look, I hope Justin Fields is incredible. It's not happening. Not saying they won't sign him. I'm just saying the idea that Justin Fields comes here and is what Darnold was in Minnesota or what Baker was in Tampa that first year. These things don't happen to the Jets. They don't. That's why all you people saying, move on, do this, that. Like, you had a guy that threw 28 touchdowns on a team with horrendous coaching, no running game, and the defense that sucked. He still could play. You bring him back, you draft someone. That's a plan. Not Tyrod Taylor and hope Jordan Travis could be the backup. Or Jackson Dart at 7. That's a shit plan. Kazmer says this set the Jets back probably about 4 years. Look, I don't think we can say that at all. I think it set them back in 2025, though. I want to win games. Why is everyone okay sucking next year? You really think this team's that far away from doing what the Chargers just did? Really? Houston was the second worst team in the NFL. D'Amico came in there in the playoffs in year 1. Washington, the same thing. I get it. Stroud, Daniels. Rodgers can still be good enough to take a team to the playoffs if the right team is around him. Team, coaching. David, I hope they don't plan the tank for the possibility for tanking for Arch Manning is not a plan. No team thinks that way. They somehow think they're going to be better next year without Rodgers. I hope they're right. I don't see it. Now, by accident, could they win more than 5 games? Sure, because they should have won way more than 5 this year. But they're not winning 9 games next year, 10 games, which is what they're going to need to do to be a playoff team. Bobby's floppy, you know what? We're already in quarterback hell. This is great news. No, you're not. You're not in quarterback hell. You were in coaching hell. You had a competent quarterback under contract who was willing to play ball with you. And you said, we're good. Omari says, my guy, Jake, chill. I wanted them back as well. But like you said, you wanted the coach and GM to make that decision. Let's just see how it plays out. Yeah, I mean, but I'm not going to sit here and say I agree with the decision. I didn't want Woody coming in saying you got to do this or that. But I'm not going to – I'd be such a fraud if I'm like, well, I got to trust the process, guys. This is what Aaron Glenn and Darren Mucci want, so I got to be all on board. No, I'm not on the Jets payroll. F that. I'm going to give you my honest thoughts. That's why 41,000 of you subscribe to this channel. You might agree with me. You might not agree with me. But these are my thoughts, my opinions. I don't work for the Jets, and I'm just going to tell it how it is. I don't think it's a good move. David writes in, time to move on. Oh, they're moving on, David. Congrats. Enjoy the 4 wins next year. Hope it's awesome. Hennessy says, Glenn sat him down and said, I'm the captain now. I mean, I think Aaron Glenn's making a mistake. David with a super chat. 2-15, Zach back as starter. AG wasn't kidding when he said, we're the New York Jets. We're built for shit. Rex Ryan's watching. We're the Jets. We're built for multiple 4-13 seasons. Oh, yeah. Oh, I smell the 4-13. Do you guys? Forget the wings later. Oh, I smell 4-13. And like the 6th pick in the draft, where 3 quarterbacks will be gone by pick 5. Watch. Like, tanking's not even a plan either. They don't even know how to do that. Oh, I'm so upset. I really am. The Turtle writes in, Jets are a poverty team regardless. Okay, great. Thanks for the $2. Really, really moved the conversation forward with that one. Tell me why I shouldn't pull out my season tickets. I'm not going to tell you shouldn't. Spend your money how you want to spend your money. I crushed the Jets when in November they were asking season ticket holders for renewals when you know who the coach was, who the quarterback was, and who the GM obviously was going to be. You know who the coach is. If you like Aaron Glenn or Darren Mucci, there you go. You know who the quarterback is. But I can tell you that quarterback's not going to be as good as Aaron Rodgers. Meadowman says, disappointed with this call. Easy way out for this new administration because the expectations are now lowered. Here comes another top 7 pick. Yeah. Why would I expect it to not be that type of year next year? Tell me. Nick Shine, we sucked with Rodgers. Yeah. And the Chargers sucked with Justin Herbert till they didn't. What's your point, Nick? Great take. Dilly Bob says, seems like a Woody move. Will be a clean house on offense. You bet I'm actually calling in to cancel my tickets. Dysfunctional. And this coming out on Super Bowl Sunday, too, to try and do a Sunday news drop just sucks. Isaac says he only wanted us and we quit on him after 1 year. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. I've never met any Jet teammate I spoke to on or off the record. I had nothing but good things to say about Aaron Rodgers. Cashmere Black. AR gave us the best chance to make the playoffs, without question. Douglas. Jets being rebuilt more often than I-95. Just the whole thing sucks. Omari says they don't make this move without a plan. Yeah, their plan is probably Tyrod Taylor and sign another quarterback and then draft someone. Double R, big mistake. Jets fans are too used to being losers. You finally get a quarterback that had one of the better years you've seen in a decade, if not the best year in a decade, and it's get rid of him? Really? Jorge is the first person to get in on the raffle today with a 10. Actually, that's not true. Forever Ron gets it run. Jorge's in the raffle, though, for 10. We have a signed Curtis Martin helmet and a signed Wayne Crubett jersey as our top 2 prizes. My YouTube chat is not giving me the names, but if you got one from Jorge, thank him. And because Jorge gave us 10 memberships, I will play this.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
I think I'm back on, but I can't even. My computer is down, man. This is brutal. I am having a miserable day here. I hope that video even played. Now it's playing in my ear and it's already happened. All right. I mean, if they go 8-9 with Jackson Dart, I'd be encouraged. But I don't think Jackson Dart is worth the top 7 pick. If they're starting a rookie and win 8 games, I'd feel differently. I'd be like, okay, they moved on. I see the future. They're not in a position to get one of these rookie quarterbacks where it makes sense. Maybe they're going to trade up. I think that'd be a huge mistake too. Swamp Ranger checks in. Glenn wants a winner at quarterback. Will Howard's a winner. Tore up the best college defenses, 6'4", 240, draft him in the 3rd. Fine. I'm okay with that. I don't think Will Howard's ultimately going to be the answer, but I'm okay with that. Ryad with a super chat. This franchise is unserious about winning. Giving bottom 15 quarterback play to a talented roster is not the right way to start a new regime. Already have a bad feeling on this regime. Same boneheaded stuff. Yeah, I mean, I would think a regime that knows what they're doing would evaluate their options and be like, hey, Rodgers gives us the best chance. All right, apparently my audio was out. It's been a nightmare tech-wise for me today. I had to quickly unplug all my radio equipment back into my computer, and I think that's affecting things. But hopefully you guys hear me. Omari says, we also don't know what the conversation was like. What if A-Rod wasn't on board with the vision? Based on what's been reported, Omari, I'd be very shocked if that's the case. Wild Wave, it's the right decision. Glenn building it his way. Okay. I'm glad you're happy, Wild Wave. Enjoy the 4 wins next year. Grael says, effing great move to instill confidence in a fan base, making a move that objectively makes the team worse. Way to get off to a strong start, AG. Shake my head. I don't think they got better today. Now, that doesn't mean that Aaron Glenn might not be an awesome coach. But I don't see how you're a better team by doing this. I don't. Chitty Luke with a super chat. This is a new regime. This is par for the course. Stop caring about the playoff drought. I want a Super Bowl. This is better for the Jets long term. See, you fall in the same dumbassery line of thinking of, it's all about the Super Bowl. You know, it's not actually. All right? Because you can't walk until you can crawl. And to use a better example, the Jets are in hell right now. You can't be thinking about getting to the top of the mountain, which would be winning the Super Bowl, when you're underground right now. Establish a new culture like McDermott did with Tyrod as his bridge quarterback, and then he traded up to get Josh Allen. Rodgers, quarterback, this year, get the quarterback in 2026. Or maybe you did draft someone on day 2 that sits and learns and then takes over next year if he's ready. Or that guy and Jordan Travis have a legit battle. Why are we throwing away next year? Go Yard says, Woody can have all my money again. So you're happy with this, I guess? Good for you, man. I'm glad you're happy. Enjoy your day. Jesse P writes in, so no more primetime games and still rebuilding for the past 20 years and counting. Yeah, for those of you who love 1 o'clock home games, you're going to get them back if you want a positive. Cashmere Black, we better be a hell of a defense without a quarterback in 2025. Yeah, I mean, I hope the defense plays to the talent they still have. Hopefully Steve Wilkes has a good plan. Rick Gordon says, I believe this is the best in the long run. They will find quarterbacks, and with improved defense and coaching, they might surprise. They will not find quarterbacks, Rick. Am I talking to a Jet fan base here? They don't find quarterbacks. They haven't had one since this guy. Just find quarterbacks. Like, it's just easy to get someone that can throw 28 touchdowns. Oh, it's so easy. No, it's not. It's not so easy just to find quarterbacks. They'll find a quarterback. Based on what? Find quarterbacks. I'm just going to put this image up for the rest of the show because I can't take it anymore. Just find quarterbacks. Yeah, okay. I'll play along. No, I won't actually play along. I'm not playing along because that's a stupid. Oh, well, they'll find a quarterback. No, they won't. No, they won't. They don't find a quarterback. They never do. We have a guy that threw 28 touchdowns and 4,000 yards. Why don't we try it for one more year with real coaching? And then we could find our quarterback. Or we take someone on day 2 and they don't have to play right away. And they can sit and learn like Chad Pennington got to. We trade back into the end of round 1 like the Ravens did for Lamar. He sat behind Flacco for most of the year. That's what I'm saying. Not that Aaron's going to win the MVP next year. He's going to be great. Although, I will tell you what. his chances of winning the MVP just increase because that'd be the most Jet-like thing to happen. Just like Favre had one of his greatest years ever when he took that team at 12-4 to the NFC title game. Big fella says, I'm okay with this. We should allow Glenn and Muji to build the team. Rodgers might not even play next year. Let's see how it plays out. He wanted to play for the Jets. He doesn't play next year because he didn't want to play anywhere else. You don't get on your plane and go meet with the team if you weren't interested in playing for the Jets. I have the Glazer cut, but I don't want to play it because my internet is all messed up and it might impact the show again. JJ says, Jake, you want 1 year mediocre football with Rodgers for what? I want to do what the Chargers just did, JJ. Was that mediocre football making the playoffs? I don't think so. Was it mediocre in 06 when Mangini came in and the Jets were supposed to do nothing that year and they went 10-6 and made the playoffs with Chad winning comeback player of the year? That's what I wanted. All right. And then you know what? If you get in, maybe you go on a run. Sam writes in, folks, Arch Manning's not coming out. Even if he did, his parents and uncles will never let it happen. I promise you this. Does anyone really think the Jets are going to be in position to even get the top quarterback? We know how this goes. You're going to win a game or two late, and they're not going to be in range. JC says, bro, I agree. This sucks, but the handwriting was on the wall when AG and Muji were hired. Don't go full Zach Wilson and get yourself some Chipotle. I appreciate it, JC, but just because the writing might have been on the wall doesn't mean I'm not going to be upset about it. Because I think it's the wrong move. Notice, not one person we had on the show in New Orleans this past week had a better alternative than Aaron Rodgers. Not one. No one does. I'm a Jet fan and a Sabre fan. I have not, God bless you, dude. I have not seen either of these godforsaken teams in the playoffs since I was 12. Existence is a nightmare. So you're a fan of the two teams in sports that have the longest playoff drops. That's brutal. Cry me a turn, poker. Do you think it was about being the top Aaron? He was threatened by another Aaron in the building. I heard Schefter allude to this. Yeah, I'm sure that had something to do with it. I want to do it my way. And I don't agree with I got to build my culture and do it my way. Like, okay. You put yourself in quite the hole when this team's 4-13. All the fans happy about this today. I can't wait for your reaction when you're watching losing football again next year. I can't wait for the people that wanted Glenn to now say he sucks and should go. Ryan says, I wanted Rodgers back, but will admit not everything is black and white. This is more about establishing the new culture to me. We'll see how it pans out. Establishing it. I love the establishing a new culture. I love that. Oh, establishing a new culture. Every coach that the Jets have hired has talked about establishing a culture. None of them do it because they lose, because they don't have a quarterback. Guess what? You now don't have a quarterback. You had one for at least a year. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't what he once was, but his teammates still loved him. He still ended the year playing at a pretty high level. And now it's just like, we're good. All right, great. I'm good too. Not. Chitty writes in, what are you not understanding is Rodgers is old and will retire. No, Chitty. I am understanding that. He wants to play at least one more year. A playoff appearance ain't worth nothing. You're wrong about that. A playoff appearance is absolutely worth something. Tell that to a fan base that has people in it that have never seen the Jets in the playoffs. An entire generation of kids have grown up and not seen a playoff game. Don't tell me a playoff appearance is worth nothing because you're wrong. I don't even want your $10 super chat. All right? If I could refund it, I would. I don't want your blood money. Ablab writes in, let the offseason play out all the way, please, before we damn ourselves to a crap season. Take a deep breath, my brother. I'm tired of losing, Ablab, as are you. All right? You don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. None of the people watching the show deserve it. How did they get better today? The 1,400 in you here right now, how did you get better today? Rick Kent, he says, the silver lining for this is we won't see that idiot BMAC again. Jay writes in, this coming out today on Super Bowl Sunday screams Woody. I don't know if we could blame the Jets for this. It sucks it got out, but Glazer's great at what he does. All the other reports from Schefter or Judy Batista was it's fluid. We don't know. They're all guessing. They're all guessing. So they could say they were right. They were first. They don't know. The Jets kept this very close to the vest. Somehow Glazer got it that they met in person. They don't know. They all want to be able to say they're first. The only person who was actually first is Glazer, who gave you they're moving on. They told him they're moving on. CLS says time to move on. Great. You got what you want, CL Smooth. I hope you enjoy the 4 wins next year. Smells like 4-13, baby. Yeah. Jake, here we go again. I'm 62. Do not want to sit through another tank season, then another rebuild. Give them hell, buddy. I mean, just tell me how they're a better football team with any quarterback out there that it's not the guy that threw 28 touchdowns. Tell me. Omari says, feeling aside, now that this is done, what would your plan be with the options we currently have? I mean, I try to sign someone to compete with Tyrod like Fields, but I don't think Fields is coming here. He's going to get more money elsewhere. The Giants are going to probably throw a boatload of money at Justin Fields, so they have someone in case they can't make a trade to get Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. By the way, someone on my radio show called in and asked, could Rodgers go to the Giants? Oh, would that be typical Jets if that happens? Cody says, you might be right, Jake. This was the wrong decision. That being said, it's possible Rodgers refused to play the soldier rather than the general. He's the quarterback. He's still the general. EJ says, AG just came from the Lions who had success with Goff. A miracle career turnaround. I hope he doesn't expect that just to happen here. It won't. And Goff also got some of the best offensive coaching in the league. Yeah, if the Jets could get Jared Goff, I'd love that. Move on from Rodgers. They can't. Do people see what's on the screen right now? Look at that. Look at it. Look at it. Cry me a turn poker. They got rid of that D-line coach. I think his name was Aaron. I hope no quarterback prospects named Aaron in the coming years. Only Aaron allowed per source. Yeah, Aaron Glenn has vowed to be the only Aaron on the associated with the Jet franchise. That's what this is about. Sure. Aaron Whitecotton was the D-line coach's name. Oh, this just sucks, man. Sears says 14-year playoff drought. Respectfully, we could wait another year. Let's just keep waiting. Why not? Reality is we weren't winning anything. What do you mean we're not winning anything? There wasn't a path this year to even be a better team? How many games did the defense blow? Jacoby Brissett sticking it up our ass in New England. Anthony Richardson sticking it up our ass, at MetLife. Tua down 8 with 2 minutes to go, right down the field on our shit defense. 2-point conversion, good. Game goes to overtime. Rodgers doesn't even get the ball in overtime. That's 3 games right there. The defense choked and blew. Zerline blew another 2 or 3. This team was not that far away with some of the worst coaching I've ever seen from actually being relevant this year. Henny says, we're the freaking New York Jets. Play it, Jake. I can't play shit on my end right now because 1, I'm pissed, and 2, my StreamYard's not working. When Aaron Glenn said we're the Jets, we're built for this shit, I mean, I want him to now say we're tired of this. I'm tired of losing, man. And this to me is a losing move. Dirty Ray Gun. Don't like the move, just praying for a decent season. I mean, I hope so. Christian says, wow, stop crying. You're comparing quarterbacks on a team that hasn't hit on a head coach since Rex. Let Aaron Glenn make his moves and sit, watch, and trust him. What am I trusting Aaron Glenn on, Christian? What experience does Aaron Glenn have as a head coach identifying quarterbacks that I should feel confident in? Trust him. Trust him. Why? Because he's a former Jet, so that means I got to automatically trust him. I'm not allowed to criticize him if I think he's making a mistake. Trust him. Okay. Let's just sit back and trust the Jets. They've always come through when we put our faith in them. Honestly, if I could refund your blood money here, I would. What an asinine comment here. I don't even know if this is going to play on my end, but in case it doesn't, see you later.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
Terrible. Terrible, terrible. This whole thing is terrible. Am I on right now? Every time I play a video, my computer's freezing up. Just brutal. That was worth it because I got Christian really annoying. Adam is too cool. What happened when Favre retired? I forgot. Exactly. Cry me a turn. Says Aaron Jones requested a trade to the Jets for a bag of sand, but Muji couldn't do it because then we'd be over the Aaron quota. We're not allowed to sign any Aarons anymore. So if there's ever a free agent the Jets are going after named Aaron, they will not get him. Unreal. Sam says, please start sending folks to the hall. Insanity do the same thing over and over again. You just didn't need to do this now. You could play out one more year with Rodgers and then get the quarterback in 26. I love this. You got to start the build now because you're going to have to move on from him eventually. Okay, so let's just be bad. Let's just be bad. Awesome. Coops writes in, the Jets will be great without him. No, they won't. They're going to suck. I mean, okay. Now, I am going to restart my StreamYard here because I need the ability to take calls here. And this is a major pain in the ass. So this is happening on one of the biggest streams ever. So I apologize to the audience for the tech issues here. Give me 30 seconds, and hopefully we'll be able to take calls on the Gusbuster hotline. Stand by. Check, check. Is this working? Hopefully it is. More super chats to get into here. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull them up. The Turtle says, we lost 7 games by 6 or less points in the last 90 seconds. Correct. And if you don't think that's coaching, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I gave you the games the defense specifically blew. That's not on Rodgers. It's not. Omari says, we're going to be okay, Jakes. Okay, Jake. Knicks and Jets. No, we're not, Omari. We're not. Mark says, looks like the first boneheaded move by this new regime. Sure hope it doesn't blow up in their face. I hope they have this great plan and they're right. I just think this is going to hurt the team in 2025. They're not going to be better. They're not. GJ writes in, I don't care about A-Rod's arrogance and off-field weirdness. Good luck finding another decent quarterback. Jets continue with the BS. All I care about with Rodgers is do his teammates like him? And the answer is universally yes. This is a mistake. Let's get to your calls right now. Gusbuster hotline's open. June, the GM, is first. What's up, June?
Hey, what's going on, Jake? So check this out. Growing up, a Jets fan, I've never been privileged to see a quarterback that I love be a Jet. I grew up loving Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham. And when we picked Kenny O'Brien over Dan Marino, was just more pain. But this morning, I was on Boy Green's show, and I said, I have a feeling that he's not coming back. And everybody was like, oh, you said I couldn't sleep last night. It felt eerie. And the reality is that anyone who thinks that we're a better team or that this was a good move by Mr. Aaron Glenn, who obviously wants to let everybody know he has the biggest cock in the room, excuse my language, doesn't know football. It's not a better move. It's a bad move. We're going to suffer. But I've been riding with the team this long. I'm just going to have to, just deal with the bullshit. It might be a really long year. My hopes and prayers is that they have a plan in place. What that plan is, I don't know. I see Jameis Winston. I see the guy Malik Willis as a bridge quarterback to whoever we draft this year. I don't know.
No, I'm Malik Willis. He's terrible.
Well, Jake, the options are nobody. I've been looking. I'm going looking. Winston, Taylor Heineke, Hendon Hooker, Joshua Dobbs. There's nobody outside there. Nobody. Me or you might pick. There's nobody. Nobody. And in the draft, we already know what they say about these quarterbacks in the draft. So losing Aaron Rodgers is a miserable moment in New York Jets history. It is what it is.
It's a big mistake. I'm with you. It's a big mistake. JJ says, Jake, we sat through the worst season in Jets history, and you're sitting here screaming, run it back, WTF. Okay, since you lack any listening skills or the ability to think critically, no, I'm not saying run it back, you dope. What I am saying is I don't put the 5-12 record just on Aaron Rodgers, as I've explained countless times. Is he what he once was? No. But I look at him as still the best option, and you're not running it back. You're bringing him back. You're probably bringing Devontae back because he proved he still could play. And without Devontae, you have one good receiver right now on your roster. That's it. I'm arguing to bring Rodgers back because you're not running it back. You're going to have a new coach and coaching staff. You're going to have a new kicker. The things that plagued the 2024 Jets hopefully are rectified. And if Rodgers can still be competent, which I believe he's capable of doing, you could be a good team next year. That's my point. No one's saying running it back. We're not hiring Salah again. We're not bringing back Jeff Obrick. We're not keeping Greg Zuerlein. We're not bringing back Hassan Reddick or Michael Clemens. No one's screaming, run it all back. I'm screaming, Rodgers should be brought back as the one-year bridge quarterback. You understand that, JJ? Can you think critically now? Run it back. No one's saying run it all back. It's, how about the guy who threw 28 touchdowns and gives you the best chance to win? He's the quarterback next year. That's what we're saying. Neil is up next. What's up, Neil?
Unbelievable. I just had to have two. I just went in the freezer after this news, and I got out a pack of White Castles to hopefully that'll do the job. And if not, I got a backup plan. My lighter, my gun lighter. It's my backup plan. You know, I had a feeling when there was news, there was news earlier, Devontae said if he hasn't played for the Jets, he'd like to play on the West Coast. Did you hear that?
It was a report. It wasn't him saying that.
Well, it was a report.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? That means he heard about it. You know what I'm saying, Jake? That right there gave me I said, wait a minute. Why is Devontae Adams saying something like that unless he already knows the news, you know, that he's not going to come back with us? That kind of crept in my head. And I said, shit. You know, when that news came out, I said, something's up here. That's not what we want to hear. And sure enough, Philly Noodles, Connor Long, the 13-year-old wonder, and all these other assholes, I'm sorry to say, are going to be watching crappy
Connor's
football.
not an asshole. You can't call him
Listen,
asshole.
they're going to be watching crappy football till they're my age, okay? That's it. Put Rob on. Rob is in the background. He wants to join me. I don't think Peter's going to join me, but I want to have. I had a rough week this week. I lost my 91-year-old father-in-law.
I'm sorry about that, man.
So I had a rough week. I caught some of your stuff in Vegas. You did a magnificent. Vegas, New Orleans. You did a magnificent job, Jake. I got to tell you, great interviews, man. Holy shit! Wow, I caught the interviews. You did a fantastic job. Craig Carton was really a good one. You know, that was really nice. But hey, can I ask you a question? How about, is Matthew Stafford ever a chance that we could pry him away? I heard that he's thinking about moving on or something. What happened?
How would that make any sense for the Jets?
I don't know. Listen, we need a quarterback now. I can't believe
they're creating a hole a year early before they have to do it. That's my big thing. Like, no one's saying Rodgers is the future, but he could be your quarterback for 1 year. He could be your bridge, and then you can get the quarterback in 26, or maybe you do it at the end of the first round this year in a trade up, and that guy sits. That's the point.
Well, one thing is for sure, as miserable as the Giant fans are going to be today, when Saquon Barkley runs for 150 yards and hoists a trophy with the Eagles, we are going to be more miserable next year when Aaron Rodgers is either on the Steelers or on the 49ers with Devontae Adams, and he's making a run in the playoffs while we're home commiserating about how our rookie quarterback and who's going to do it. And
Oh, by the way,
Quinn
Quinton Williams just tweeted thumbs down. So as I've been saying, the players are
go.
not happy with this. I mean, it's so stupid. It's just good.
This is such a crap shot.
Let's create a hole for no reason. We got.
And do you think he flew here? What do you think? People are saying, "Oh, he flew here because he wants to call his shot." Come on, he flew here with his hat in his hand. I'm ready to go. I mean, he didn't fly here to say he didn't want to play with us, did he, Jake? Is that a possibility?
No, I think he flew because he wanted to play. He was hoping it would work out with the Jets.
Right. I mean, are you kidding me?
That's fine. Rodgers will go play elsewhere, and he'll probably be really good because that's what happens.
He's going to play. I mean, there's no way.
I hope he retires so we can't get burnt by this. But he's not going to retire. That'd be too easy. It would let the Jets off the hook if he retired.
He's not retired.
He's playing. He's playing.
He is definitely playing, and he's definitely going to be in a on a team that is going to win this next year. I mean, a winning team that's going to go. I mean, think about it. What's going on with the 49ers and Brock Purdy? Did they sign him to a long-term deal yet?
No, they have not. I don't think he's going to go there, but I could see him in Vegas.
Why not?
Because I think Brock Purdy is going to be their quarterback. They're not going to bench him for Aaron Rodgers at 41.
All right. What about the Steelers?
Possibly.
That's the one I'm really thinking is going to be it. Because
I mean, if the Rams trade Stafford, the Rams are an option for Rodgers too. McVay with Rodgers for a year, they probably would win a lot of games.
Either the Rams or the Steelers. I don't see him going to somebody said the Dolphins. Oh God. If he went to the Dolphins and started winning, oh my!
And go to the Vikings too if JJ McCarthy's not ready yet, and then Rodgers'
the Vikings
full prophecy will be complete. He would have done the Favre fully.
There you go. There's something. Oh, throwing a Jefferson and Devontae Adams on the Vikings. There you go, right there. Oh yeah, exactly. There's the fit, Jake. You hit it right on the head. It's definitely going to be Minnesota because he gets to stick it up Green Bay's ass, right? He gets to get Jefferson and Devontae on the same team. Oh, my God. There you go. And he's going to take the Vikings over the top because Sam Darnold couldn't do it. There's the storybook. The Vikings will be at the next Super Bowl, and we'll be watching. And, wow, are we going to be depressed? Well, this is a bad day. I can't take it anymore. I'm telling you, they're really trying my patience. And Jake, you have all the right in the world to bitch slap this team today, and we'll see what happens.
I hope they're right. I would love to be wrong. I'd love to hear from
I would love nothing more to be wrong, but I don't see it. I may be the Matthew Stafford thing doesn't make any sense. There's nobody else. Who the hell is there? Is there anybody? Who could we even think about? Who is going to answer the bell? Even if it's not this year, if I had a quarterback that you could say is on the rise, that could at least.
They're in college right now, Neil. Their long-term answer is in the 2026 draft. It's not this year.
Nobody's going to be better than Tyrod Taylor. Nobody's going to beat him out.
If I was guessing who the Jets starter is week 1, it's going to be Tyrod. And I hope he stays healthy. He's good if he's healthy. He's competent. He can, but 17 games of Tyrod Taylor is not happening. So who's your backup? Is it Jordan Travis? Really? I doubt that. So they're going to have to sign someone, and they'll call it an open competition. But I'd be shocked if Tyrod doesn't win it.
The thing about Tyrod Taylor is if you're going with Taylor, then you're going to go with Justin Fields because then you'll make more of an RPO type offense, Jake. Would that make more sense? That maybe they're going to go with an RPO type, move the ball around, roll guys out. Tyrod Taylor is good on the move, even though at this point he's kind of a pocket passer, but I guess that's the direction they're going. So we'll see a lot more action between the 20s, but God, man, I'm going to miss Aaron Rodgers. It was a nice thing. God damn it.
Yeah, it just in only Jet-like fashion, the injury just wrecked everything. Everything. He never got hurt, and they had a disappointing year last year. They'd have a different coach going into this year. Maybe it would have been Vrabel. Probably would have been. And then who knows? But we'll never know. So memberships were gifted here, but I'm just seeing this now. I want to shout them out, but I'm having major tech issues. I could take calls, but I can't play videos, which sucks. Very frustrating here, but this is what happens when you rush. You do 3 hours of radio, and then you get off the air. Big fella says, send Neil to the hole for calling Connor an a-hole. I mean, big fella, Neil's not being serious. Like I don't think Neil's not being serious. He's being Neil. But I got my guy Connor's back. I think he's vehemently wrong about Aaron Rodgers, but I got his back. Maybe Quinton was talking about this season. Now he's talking about Aaron Rodgers. I'm telling you, I have spoken to these guys on and off the record. They all love the guy. Love him. If I didn't feel that, like, that's why I'm this passionate about it, because I get so annoyed with, like, the perception that Rodgers is this bad guy and they don't like him. Like, everyone's talking about, well, Rodgers changes so many plays from the run. I'm sure, like, Breece Hall can't wait for Rodgers to not be there. Breece Hall is one of the biggest guys on social media trying to get Rodgers to come back. Perspective says, Jake, your rage is my rage. I feel your emotions. I'm just tired of sucking, man. What confidence should I have that moving on from a guy that statistically put up the best season by a Jet quarterback in a decade is somehow a good move? When they're not picking, look, in hindsight, moving on from Darnold was the wrong move, but it was understandable. Like, you could look at the Jets' history and be like, this was the wrong decision, but I get it. I don't really get this. I don't. I need more information to come out that's gonna influence my opinion. Hennessy says, midway through the season, you didn't want him back. Yeah, because he was not playing well, Hennessy. He was playing hurt. Over the last 6 weeks, while not perfect, he certainly sucked against the Bills. Everyone sucked that day. I saw enough to go, he's our best chance. He's our best option. So, yeah, guess what? Unlike some people you might watch, I'm not dumb enough or stubborn enough to not at least allow new information to come out that's going to influence my opinion. I'm not dead set in my ways. Now, give me a break. Jorge writes in, before today, the majority of listeners didn't want him back. Now everyone's weeping. I wanted them back. I'm pissed. No, I think most people did want Aaron back. We did polls several times since the season ended. Bonnie Pick says, I'm very disappointed. I would have liked to believe leadership went in with terms that A-Rod did not agree with. That was a risk. Tyrod needs help. I mean, they definitely need a better backup than Jordan Travis. I mean, honestly, Jordan Travis has more of a chance of being cut than being the backup. This regime didn't take him. He's coming off a major injury. He's yet to participate in a practice. So I'm anything you get from Jordan Travis, I would say, is a huge bonus. Did Garrett Wilson tweet a thumbs up yet? No, because I'm sure deep down inside, Garrett Wilson recognizes that his chances of playing on a winning team probably went down with this. It says Big Fella gifted 10 memberships. It's not coming up on my end, though, but I see in one of the YouTube chats it went through, but I can't pull it up on the screen, the notification. So if you got a membership from Big Fella, please thank him because that's very nice of him to send 10 memberships through. Those are 10 raffle entries. For those tuning in late, for every membership you gift, you're in the raffle. We got 2 big prizes for next week. Curtis Martin signed Hall of Fame helmet being one of them, the other being a signed Wayne Corbett jersey. And if you want our 14th raffle, I plan to send out the prizes tomorrow or Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that. More of your calls right now. A lot of people want in, so let's try and get to a bunch of calls here. Let's say hello to Joe the Jet, who's up next. What's up, Joe?
Jake. What a terrible day, honestly. To be perfectly honest, I, sort of saw this coming, but like the whole Aaron Glenn sort of wanting Aaron Rodgers back sort of reports sort of gave me a little hope. But then this just happened. And it's a dumb move. Very dumb move. It's a very punt on the 2025 season type of move. We'll look towards the 2026 draft type of move. I don't like it, honestly. I'm tired of losing. The last time the Jets were in the playoffs, I was 8 years old. I'm 23 now. I'm a 23-year-old man. Time is wasting at the seams for me. It has been a ginormous waste of time right now. I mean, every single season thus far. I want to win. I want to get to the postseason. Here's my fear, though. I have a fear that they're not looking towards next year's draft to draft a quarterback. I have a fear that they're going to be like, hey, let's draft Jackson Dart at 7 and just call it a day. That's where it gets scary for me. I hope that's not the case. I really hope that's not the case. And if that's the case, we're screwed.
Yeah, Joe, I think taking a quarterback at 7 or trading up for one of these guys would be a huge mistake as well. You don't need to be desperate. That'd be desperation. Now, if you traded up in the first round at like what Baltimore did, for example, that's different. Silly. I love the people in the chat. Oh, well, Rodgers' contract. He was willing to redo his contract. That was not the issue here. This was, we think we need to establish our culture, and we can't do it with Aaron in the building, which I think is nonsense. Someone wrote they might trade for J.J. McCarthy. Are we sure the Vikings are going to trade J.J. McCarthy after how Darnold's year finished? They're just going to move on? I don't necessarily see that. That's not happening. I don't see that happening at all. More of your calls right now. Let's say out of Nathan, who's next. Hey, Nathan.
Hey, Jake. How you doing?
What's up, Nathan?
You are sick over this. I am devastated over this. Let me just give a message to all the young Jet fans out there. I'm 72 years old. I saw the Jets win once in my life. It's been a long wait. I'm very sorry, but you guys are screwed. Okay. We have a new coaching staff now that I think that with the 3 running backs that we have, I think maybe they want to run the old triple wing or, whatever. Alabama with this is the stupidest thing because I've seen every Jet quarterback who has ever played. And last year I saw a 39-year-old man who was hurt play maybe in the top 3 to 5 Jet quarterbacks that I've seen in my whole life. So, like you said, he was going to take a pay cut. He wanted to play with the Jets. If he played, Adams would, play with them. We have no one now. We don't have a high draft pick, and I think that these guys, Glenn is thinking he has years and he can like build his own team. But what we have all seen for years and years, the only way that you win in this league is you have to have a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, you can't win. There's nobody out there. I have a crazy name. This guy always gets hurt, and I would never want him on my team, but now I am a desperate man. Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Parker passer.
No, thank you on Jimmy G.
I know, but who, Jake? Who?
I mean, it's going to be Tyrod. Tyrod's the favorite, Nathan. He's on the roster. He's well liked in the locker room. It's going to be Tyrod and someone else. Jimmy G. Jimmy made a glass. Garoppolo. The G in Garoppolo actually stands for glass. I can't do it. I'm with you, though, Nathan. I think it's a huge mistake. As I've been saying. It's so frustrating. It really is. I'm livid. Julio says, I'm expecting Hendon Hooker joining the Jets. I mean, he stinks, so that would make sense. He sucks. All you need to know about Hendon Hooker is the Lions had no faith in the guy. They signed Teddy Bridgewater off the street, who was coaching high school football all year, to be their backup for a playoff game when Goff got hurt. He came in. and that's the guy the Jets are going to bring in, great. If that's their move, I really trust Aaron Glenn's football acumen then. It's so disappointing, man. The whole thing just sucks. All this sucks. Terrible. Sucks that it ends this way with Rodgers. Like, it's just brutal. More calls right now. Let's say hello to Connor Long, who is very happy today. It's a great day for you, Connor. Congratulations. You did it. You ran Rodgers out of town.
Jake, how you doing?
Great, Connor. How are you?
I'm okay. Here's where I am right now with this whole thing. What's happened? I'm still waiting to see exactly what transpired, because it's all clear. It's clear that Rodgers flew to New Jersey to meet with the Jets, and the Jets told him they're moving on. I'm waiting for more information to see what happened there, because if he was pretty stubborn and he said, I want to run my offense, I want all my guys, I want Alan Lazard back next season, I want all these guys back, I'm not going to take much of a pay cut, then that's where I say, okay, I'm moving on. Then I would solidify that a good move for the Jets. However, I would be a little disappointed if Rodgers says, guys, I want to play for this team next season. I'm willing to lower my average annual salary down to $20 million next season, take a $17 million pay cut, soften the blow, and I'll become the lowest paid quarterback in all of football alongside Geno Smith, while, willing to do anything to help out Tanner Engstrand and try to build this offense. That's what I need to know, because I will be a little frustrated if I find out Rodgers agreed to both those things and they didn't bring him back. However, Rodgers, I think on his current contract, it was not worth bringing him back whatsoever. You look at I know, Jake, you're going to mention the 28 touchdowns, all of that. He threw the ball over 500 times. He was second in passing attempts. He also threw 11 interceptions. So I think there's a lot of context there. I don't.
11 supposed to be a lot?
I mean, it's not a little.
It's
not 5.
Okay, it's not a lot though. 11 interceptions. Did you watch?
The main point there, Jake, was he threw the ball over 500 times. He finished second in attempts.
They had no running game, Connor. They had zero running game. How's Keith Carter doing as a run game coordinator? How's that working? One of the good things Aaron Glenn did was fire him.
I'm not saying Rodgers is the only reason the Jets struggled, and Rodgers is the only reason the Jets won 5 games. I'm just saying you can't pay based on what we saw from Aaron Rodgers last season. You can push back on this all you want. I am standing pat here.
You said he's a bottom 10 quarterback in the league.
Yes.
I do not think he's a bottom 10 quarterback in the league.
He was one of the least accurate quarterbacks in all. Okay, what did you see from Aaron Rodgers last season that told you he is an average quarterback to above average last season?
I thought he played well and let's go game by game. The Niners game, they got blown out. I thought he was fine that night. I don't put that on him. Week 2 against the Titans, he led a fourth quarter comeback. Week 3 against New England was his best game, I believe, ever as a Jet. Week 4 against Denver, he wasn't good, but neither was the offensive line that day in the rain. And Greg Zuerlein missed a kick they could have won. He was awful in London. I was there. Once again, I'm not saying Rodgers is perfect, but his team also led the NFL in drops.
He finished 28th in adjusted completion percentage.
I don't care what the analytic numbers are adjusted. Like, what do your eyes tell you, Connor? Did he play well against Buffalo the night that Tyron Smith committed a holding penalty to wipe away a game-winning score, or Greg Zuerlein missed 2 kicks that night? Like, they could have won that one. Was it Rodgers' fault?
He didn't beat a top 10 defense. He couldn't beat he was 1-6 when the game was on the line. Final drive to go down the field and win the game. How many times did we say this is why we have Aaron Rodgers, for these big moments? And guess what? He was 1-6 in those moments.
Did he do it against New England in a game they lost, or the Colts in a game they lost, or had the lead 8 points with 2 minutes to go against the Dolphins? These are all games they lost, Connor. No one's trying to tell you Aaron Rodgers is what he once was, but you're running him out of town. There's not a better alternative than he is. There's not. That's the point.
The team isn't making the playoffs next season. Let's keep that out. This team's not making a run.
How do you know that?
There's no guarantee they're making the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers either.
But do they not have a better chance to be a playoff team with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback than whoever you're going to tell me you want at quarterback?
Correct. Yes, they do have a better chance with Aaron Rodgers. However, you have to this is what I said earlier. You have to maximize what you have on your roster right now. Let's be real. You have talent on your roster. However, you can't just bring someone back and say, "Oh no," because this is not an all-in year. The past 2 seasons were all-in years. This is not an all-in year under any circumstance. So you cannot pay someone $63 million in 2026 to put them out on the field, and maybe they have a chance to get you 9, 8, 10, and 7, sneak into the playoffs and get blown out in the first round.
See, I agree with you, Connor, but I think Aaron Rodgers was open to taking a pay cut. That has been out there. He has said it, and it was reported.
I want to see. I don't have.
You think he told the Jets he doesn't have very many options to go somewhere that's a better spot? You really think he told the Jets, "I'm not open to adjusting my contract"? That's it.
I don't know what he said.
If that's the case, then my opinion will be a lot different. I don't believe
that's what I said.
Case.
That's what I said, because I need to see if he was willing to, most importantly, if he was willing to adapt to this offensive system. Because his, whatever it's called, West Coast offense or whatever, does not work in 2025, 2024 in the NFL. It does not work. It's so predictable every single play. I don't know. The problem is, I agree with you. The options aren't all that attractive.
Yeah,
that's
the options suck, Connor. They suck. And there's no Davante Adams now either. So you have one good wide receiver and no quarterback. Fantastic.
Well, Davante Adams would have needed to restructure his deal.
Which he would do. He wants to play with Aaron Rodgers. That's how they would spin. That's why I think Rodgers would take a pay cut. They'd spin it like so it goes to Davante to rework his deal because he's not playing at $38 million next year. None of it's guaranteed. That's the point. These things are not just in a vacuum. It should get rid of Rodgers. You also lose Davante. So now you need to completely rebuild the wide receiver room. You got Quinnen Williams going thumbs down on Twitter. The players know. The players know that Rodgers is their best quarterback on the roster, and they're making the team worse by doing this. They know. That's what Jermaine Johnson and Quincy Williams were saying. That's why Breece Hall is retweeting everything pro bring Rodgers back. They know. They know he gives them the best chance to win. They know how dysfunctional it was from a coaching standpoint. They know how bad the defense was in these games. They saw it. They know. So I hope this ends up being a great move, but this team's going to end up being probably worse than they were this year, and they only won 5 games this year. That sucks.
Jake, my one more question to you. You said you went game by game, basically pointing out which games Rodgers.
We didn't even get to the end of it. I mean, I didn't even mention like the Pittsburgh game where people say Rodgers threw the pick, but okay, what about the one up?
Did he beat a top 10 defense at all? Did he beat a top 10 defense?
Where were the Texans? What was the Texans defense ranked?
I think like 12th or 14th, something like that. They weren't in the top 10. I can nearly guarantee that.
Like, are we talking about in points per game, in yards? Because the Jets had a top 10 defense too. If we go by total defense, like they were in a top 10
points
defense.
Per game, something like that. Points per game.
Yeah, points per game. Like I don't have the numbers in front of me, but my eye test tells me that Aaron Rodgers is still a competent quarterback, and we're just making our team worse moving on from him.
My concern is that we're all forgetting. I understand that there were some health issues, but my concern is that people are forgetting what the first 10, 12 games looked like at the start of the season.
He was also coming off the Achilles, and he got hurt in that Denver game. I mean, he never should have. The mistake they made was not going to Tyrod for those 2 weeks and let him get healthy. I would hope Aaron Glenn would have the football acumen to actually play his backup in that spot.
I agree 1,000%. But again, what you said when the Jets were about to hire the head coach at GM, you wanted them to make this decision with Aaron Rodgers. You wanted them to choose who their quarterback is. Do you trust this decision? I know you don't want Rodgers. You don't trust. Why do you not trust?
I wanted them to make the decision, not Woody. But I don't think this is the right decision. Is my point. Like I'm glad they're making it. It should be them because I don't want none of this. I don't want 3 years from now when we're going through the head coach and GM search again, the story in The Athletic from Diana Rossini to be, well, Woody really forced them to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. And that's where this all started. So I didn't want that. I wanted the football people to make the football decision. Doesn't mean I agree with it.
Okay. I see where you're coming from. Again, I'm just hoping for more information to come out soon, whether he was willing to learn the offensive system or not, take a pay cut. It's going to be an interesting next few weeks, see what they do with the quarterback position. My prediction, if I threw it in at the top of the show, my prediction for quarterback next season, again, I know it's not attractive. This isn't particularly what I'd ideally like, but this is what I think it'll be. Tyrod Taylor, I think, is going to be the starter. I think you signed Jared Stidham in free agency, has the connection with Darren Muji from Denver, and you maybe trade a day 3 pick for Hendon Hooker, and then you have Jordan Travis there as well. So it's not attractive, but that's the that's what it's going to look like moving forward. I appreciate you taking my call, Jake.
Connor, how many juice boxes are we having today during the game?
Not much. No? Not much.
Gatorade? No. What are we drinking today?
I actually only drink water. That's a fun Connor Long fact. Yeah, no Gatorade either. Just water.
All right. Well, you know what? You know, make sure you don't do any drinking and driving later. All right.
Yes, sir, Jake.
Don't want
I
too much
appreciate
water
it.
in your system.
Enjoy the Super Bowl. Have a good night.
You too, buddy. Connor Long, everyone. Connor's great. We might disagree, but that kid's a star. For what it's worth, I don't know if this is true. This is just someone in the chat saying it. Apparently, the Texans defense was 8th going into that Thursday night game. Once again, it's tough to beat top 10 defenses when the team around you stinks. The Jets were not a good team. My point is it goes beyond just the quarterback. Hennessy says Glenn and company are not afraid to make moves. Oh, yeah. They're not afraid to make bad decisions. Great. Let's give them credit for that. I love it. We're still in the honeymoon period for the people who just want to blindly root for this team no matter what. They're not afraid to make moves. Awesome. Neither was Joe Douglas. How'd that work out? He moved on from Sam Darnold. Omari says, players need to keep off Twitter. That's culture. I agree with you, but I'm just telling you, the players know. They know that Aaron Rodgers could still play, and he's their best chance to win. That's why you're seeing the reaction you're seeing. They know. They're in the locker room. They're around him every day. They're at practice. Julio says, I could see Rodgers going to the Vikings, a quarterback away. Then the prophecy will be complete. He will have fully gone the Favre route. NYJ, get ready for a tank year. Oh, everyone repeat after me. You ready? With the 6th pick in the 2025, with the 6th pick in the 2026 NFL draft, the New York Jets select. That's where this is headed. Jake, why 6? You really think they're going to do this right and get in the top 3 and get a quarterback? Really? No way. Omari, why do you think they moved on? I mean, we know why they moved on. Julio, we're losing Adams too. 2 hits. Yeah. Dorian says ticket prices better be much more affordable after this. Yeah, they will be. I bet you season ticket renewals won't be better after this, though. First time head coach and GM. Now we cut Rodgers. What's next? Trading Garrett. If they trade Garrett after all this, you think I'm angry now. I will never be angrier if this somehow leads to a Garrett Wilson trade. Look, I disagree with the Rodgers decision. Obviously, if you're watching the show, I've made my opinion on this for the last 2 months on what I would do. I didn't want to move on from Rodgers. But if you think I'm angry now, wait until you see the level of anger if they were to trade Garrett Wilson, who will be the greatest receiver in this franchise's history if they keep him as a Jet for life. I'm so disgusted. I really am. JoJo says Connor's quarterback equal 3 wins. I mean, Connor's grand plan involves a lot of losing. You smell that? Oh, I smell the 4 wins from here. I smell it. Tastes awful. Hennessy says Salah too scared to bench him, and JD let him be GM. Yeah, because they were desperate. They needed him. They knew if they didn't win, they were going to get fired. Aaron with a super chat. Grew up close to Shea, became a Jet fan in 78. Wish I never did. Years of disappointment and failure. This franchise is heartbreaking. I don't get it. Fair. Paul, Glenn has too much bravado. Not a good hire. We should have got Flores or Nagy. Jets will be trash next year. Glenn out in 3 years. I mean, you can't sell me on Nagy. I'm sorry. Flores was my choice of the guys they interviewed. They didn't even interview, though, McCarthy or Carroll or Gruden. I like Aaron Glenn. I was really impressed by Aaron Glenn at his press conference. I think moving on from Aaron Rodgers when you have no viable option at quarterback is a mistake. Sucks. What a joke. All right. Here's what we need to do. We need to take a commercial break here. When we come back, get to your calls on the other side. You know what? I can't even get in my own If you're on hold, Connor Long, I see you sitting there on hold. I can't get into my own studio right now because I got to use my phone to play this spot. So I'm kicking Connor Long from the studio so I can rejoin from my StreamYard and actually be able to toss to this commercial break. Then I'll be able to play more clips here. I do have the Glazer cut, so I'm going to play that on the other side. If you're on hold, I will get to you. Stay tuned. I need a quick break to restart my laptop because that's the only way this normal show is going to be able to. Oh, one of you just joined as I was trying to join. You bastards. Hold on. I'm not playing this game. Chris G, nice try, Chris. All right, I'm trying to. Look at this. Studio's full of my own damn show. Imagine that. How's that possible? Stop joining, all you people. I see what's going on here. All right. Banners. Oh, now we got two of me. Don't like this. Hold on. This is a disaster. Stand by.
All right. Hold on. Well, there we go. I'm still on right now. Let me tell you, the tech issues I have had today trying to get the show on the air should be studied. Hold on. Media assets, commercials. All right. We're back in 2. Go Jets.
Okay, Bobby, my friend.
I told you I'd be here.
Of course.
How long does it take to get to
5 minutes, we're going to be there with all the crew, Bobby.
Yeah, I know. We get the big spell. Thank you, sir. What team do you like in football?
Get your feet in, Bob.
Well, that girl was hot that took us. Hi, sweetheart. How you doing? Good. How are you? I'm Michael. I'm good. You're getting emotional, guys. This is great. Too bad Carly won't be here. Damn. Damn, my salty ass is salty. Am I gonna be able to walk?
I was gonna clean my room until I got high.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Bobby, midnight.
Oh, yeah. Who's the stars and bright stars through the peril of fighting? We're so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare and cruise to the night that a flag was still there. Of the sea, yeah, go Jets, baby! We will rock you, oh, Bobby.
Go points in. That stinks. He's now going to score a baby on the other side. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Hey, the Asmaniacs, we're here to save the day. See, is it back on? Joe. 5 and 6 at the bye. Then you're saying it could happen. We did it. And it wasn't easy for the Jets. Let's get another game. But wins a win. And we're on. And we're good.
So how was the game, Bobby? Did you
A plus. We got what's his name driving?
Yeah, I'm done. Closing down jet life.
I love Nick Shine. Aaron Rodgers, where you going? Are we going with Bobby?
It's like the scene at the end of The Longest Yard. Around here, Jet fan Nick Shine here, chiming in with Noel here, Sweet Cheeks. It's their code name. Fantastic. Coming over, giving Bobby and Mike love.
I hope you going back to where you live, New Jersey and New York.
I'm from Queens. I was born and raised, but I went to school.
You're from Queens?
I'm from Queens.
I love you guys. Love you too. You're the best too.
You guys
Gator.
Let's get a jet. Let's get a jet.
Go get him, Jets.
We're gonna win, baby. Give me this cup.
Hopefully. Am I on? Why is this not working? God, I can't take it anymore. Am I on? Hello? Anyone hear me? Check 1, 2. Check, check, check. Is this thing on? I have a video playing in my ear. This is unreal. I think I'm on. Jeez. 1 second, people. This is much like the Jets. Dysfunctional. I cannot. Today's been awful. Appreciate everyone dealing with the tech issues there. Thanks everyone tuning in. Still over 1,000 of you in here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I should have said that a lot earlier. We talk Jets every single day. I just got back from New Orleans. I hope you all enjoyed the week of interviews. Everyone from Brandon Marshall to Thomas Morstead to Gary V to Mad Dog Russo to Craig Carton to Thomas Dimitroff to Leger Duzable to Connor Rogers, Trevor Sikkema, too many to name. Appreciate all of you. Alan with a super chat here. I don't know if videos are playing, so I'm going to steer clear of it right now. He says, 55 years of being a fan, I can't take it anymore. I'm glad I canceled my season tickets. If I was a Jets season ticket holder, I would not spend money with the team right now. I would not. I mean, what are you getting out of being a season ticket holder? That'll be my question. Like, if you want to go to games, just buy tickets on the secondary market, because ultimately you'll save money over the course of the year doing that than you would be if you pay up front what the face value prices are. Because unfortunately, by November and December, every year, basically the last 14, it's cheaper to go that route than it is to do anything else, which is a shame, but it's true. Let's get to more of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Paul, who's next. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Jake. How are you?
I'm good. Paul. Do you ever call from a place where there's not a humongous echo, though?
Yeah, I have my regular mic on. I don't know why it's echoing. Anyway, I'm moving past this at this point because what I'm worried about is I think that the fan base has got this unrealistic expectation that they're going to have a rebuild done in 2 years, and this is not real. Like people think, well, Washington, Denver, and they're using those as like go get your quarterback and you can be a playoff team. Well, number one, we're not getting a quarterback this year. That's not going to happen. Not one that's going to compete for a playoff this coming year. You almost have to be bad this year. You have to be bad this year so you can take a swing in 26. So like you have all these kids that are on the roster who are unhappy, like Quinnen and others. Like everyone's like, oh, they shouldn't be tweeting, and I agree, but they've gone through 4 years of losing. They've been terrible. Like these guys are tired of losing, and they're going to lose again this year. So from my perspective, it's like if you're going to go full rebuild, just go full rebuild. Like maybe not Garrett, but you got to look at Brees. You got to look at that and say, well, am I going to give Brees a contract now? Like you can't just be a 6-win team next year. There's no real options. Like they have about $40 million in cap room for 2025. People are talking about Justin Fields. Justin Fields is not a real option. He's going to get paid $10 to $15 million from somebody. Like your quarterback next year is Tyrod Taylor, and maybe a Carson Wentz or somebody like that. So you're a bad football team in 2025. We just have to accept that they're a bad football team, but the fan base is going to lose their minds. I don't believe for 1 second that people are going to be willing to let Aaron Glenn do what Detroit did. I just don't believe it.
No. I mean, and I don't blame any Jet fan for not showing patience. I mean, how much more patient can you be? This is a franchise that has not been to the playoffs longer than any team in professional sports. So
yeah,
that's the decision they made. They could have bought themselves some time if they brought Rodgers back as a bridge and then got their quarterback in 26. Buffalo did it. They had Tyrod. They knew they weren't going to be able to go that far with them ultimately. So then they traded up and drafted Allen and then went 6-10. But I'd rather go 6-10 in year 2 after ending the playoff drought if I have my long-term answer at quarterback. That to me would have been the plan to follow.
Connor was saying earlier, he is not really sure what happened. Albert Breer put something out earlier today where he basically was like, they just didn't know what to exactly do. So they flew Rodgers in to tell him in person that they were letting him go. So this wasn't like we're going to fly you in, have a meeting to discuss what the path looks like. The decision was already made when they flew him in. So it's kind of like, I was joking around about this, but honestly, like I have my parent companies in California. Like if you're going to fire me, please don't fly me there to fire me. Like just do it on a Zoom. Like it just, the whole thing is just weird the way the whole thing went. So like from my perspective, they made the decision fine, but let's not sell a fan base on anything other than what this really is. You're restarting. It's a 3-year build. This is not, we're going to be a playoff team next year. It's likely not a playoff team in 26 unless you get lucky, like you get a reclamation project who is a vet that somehow turns into something. But we don't have a wide receiver too. We have no safeties. We have no tight ends right now. Our defensive line and we have $40 million to work with. So there's no way you're building a roster that can compete for a playoff spot in 25. And in 26, you're probably going to get your quarterback then. So then you're going to compete in 27. That's the plan right now. That's the reality.
Yeah, Paul, good call. I don't have an issue with flying him in. They don't want it. They wanted to do it in person and tell him. But if it's true the decision was already made, and it's like, really? Have a conversation with the guy. Now, Glenn said that they were talking at the day of the press conference that they already reached out. And then I forget which reporter broke it. I don't know. I've been nonstop today, guys. I was on the radio from 12 to 3 on Mad Dog and then jumped on at 3, which is why we're having all these tech issues because not to bore you all, I use the same mic I do for radio and it's affecting the internet connection. But basically, I've been like nonstop just checking Twitter and trying to produce and host this show. So I don't know who's reporting what, but I'm pretty sure I saw something that said that the Jets, this was not the first time they spoke to Rodgers in that face-to-face meeting. They've been in communication. Rodgers said as much the other day. Now, hopefully this plays. I'll try it one more time. This was Glazer's report on Rodgers that went everywhere during the Fox pregame today.
I'm going to shift gears here. I do have some breaking news right now to report on the show. That's what we do. And it involves another Super Bowl MVP, and that is Aaron Rodgers. And guys, I've learned that Aaron Rodgers flew back to New Jersey this week to meet with the Jets about his future. Met with the team head coach and the GM, only to be told that they want to move on from him. Now, the thing is, what does Aaron want as player or not? What happens? Did they trade him? Did they cut him? Whatever it is, but the fact that Aaron actually used his own plane to fly there to find out what the decision probably means that Aaron still wants to play another year, just not going to be for the Jets.
He wants to play. I think it's obvious he wants to play. Bad move. Ray with a super chat. Judging by Quinn and Williams' tweet, this move is going to have a negative effect on the morale of the team. Another classic Jets move. I mean, I'm sure those players aren't happy with this. Julio says, not happy with the Rodgers decision, but I understand. Rodgers cast a huge shadow. This regime wants to start fresh. Hope they know what they're doing. Yep, because the Jets definitely have a history of knowing what they're doing. Paul writes in, the goal has to be 100% tank next year. Trade Wilson and Hall to make sure we're bad enough to get the number 1 pick. For who, Paul? Who are you tanking for? Great idea. David Atkins is in our raffle. Thank you, David. He's gifted a channel membership. If you want in on the raffle, $20 super chat, get you 5 tickets. A gifted membership, get you 1. If you get 5, you get 5. Tony says Sam Darnold. How many times do we have to repeat Sam Darnold is not coming back to the Jets? Do people actually think there's any possibility of this? Like, come on, man. We're going to waste time entertaining this? It's not happening. He would have no interest. More of your calls. The big fella is on the line. What's up, big fella?
Hey, man. I hope you're doing good. I know you're not happy about this whole thing, but I'm actually okay with this, to be honest. And my reasoning is that we've been in worse situations, and we came out of it okay for a little while. Back when Kotite was 1-15, we sucked and everything. We were like, oh, this is the worst team ever. All this stuff. Parcells came in, changed the culture. Didn't have much to work with, not as much as Glenn has now, actually, and he went 9-7. Now, and Neil O'Donnell, he was garbage also. So I personally, I don't see it as being awful. I think we're going to win more than the 4 games that you're saying next year.
Right.
But no, I do. Listen. He's establishing his culture. We got to let him do that,
Yeah, let's just suck.
It's not let's just suck. It's let's see what happens. We may not suck, and we may. But the thing is, we have to give him the respect and let it play out. That's what I see. Now, as for a replacement for him, you say Fields.
Someone that sucks, right?
Fields,
that's your plan, big fella?
No, not really.
Okay, good. Should have just kept Aaron at that point. That would be better towards actually trying to win games.
Well, I think we're going to win some games next year because we have the talent that we've been talking about for the past 3 years. So,
I mean, they won 7 because they didn't have a quarterback, despite how good the talent was in 2023.
We also didn't
this year, their talent took a huge step back because the GM dismantled the strength of the team, the defensive line.
Do you really think though that with this new regime that they would let Zerline continue to be on the field, or do you think Lazard, after dropping all those balls, you think they give him chance after chance after chance? I don't think so. I think accountability is going to be in place, and I think that the culture is going to be more of a dog mentality than this country club bullshit that we've had. That's what I think, and I think we're going to get some more wins out of it. That's what I think. And that's all I got.
So 7 wins next year?
I'm not guaranteeing.
What's the ceiling? What's the ceiling? Because I think the ceiling next year is you're a playoff team with Aaron Rodgers. Now, what's the ceiling with whoever the quarterback is?
We have to see who the quarterback is. We have to see who it is.
Well, what do you think? You're thrilled with this move. How did they
I didn't
get
say
better?
I was thrilled. I said I'm okay with it.
So how are they a better team now then?
How are they a better team? Okay. They're a better team because the culture is going to change. That's how we're a better team. Sauce isn't going to be.
Why couldn't it change with Rodgers at quarterback?
Why? Because Rodgers wants to be in charge. That's what Rodgers wants to do. That's why Rodgers has to have his guys there. And, he's allowed to force feed Devontae anytime he wants and, able to change the plays all the time. That's why. Okay. We're going to have someone who's going to be coachable, someone who is able to, be more of a team player than – I'm not saying he's not a team player, but what I'm saying is that he's a Hall of Famer, okay? And you expect Hall of Famers, to be – you expect them to – they walk on, whatever. I don't know. All I'm saying is that I think that we're going to be okay. That's it.
I hope you're right, big fella. I hope you're right. I really do. Jets West is up next on the show. What's up, Jets West?
Yo, what's up, Jake? Yeah, this is my first time calling in. Long time watcher. I think we're friends on Twitter.
Yeah, man. You do. You have some funny tweets. I appreciate your support as always.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Been just so invested in the Beastbreaker saga. It's just cinema. I want to take a little bit more of an optimistic side. After the Miami game, I was with you. I wanted to run through a brick wall for Rodgers. That was just a special game. But one thing I can't get past is that 60 million dead cap in 2026. There's nothing we can do to really, even like a restructure at best, that goes down maybe 5 million because that's money already paid. It has to come on the books sometime. And I think that hinders whatever potential rookie that we go in 26. Now, next year's probably not going to be great, but I do think there are some options that, potentially could like ease the blow a bit. Because again, it has to come down to, is this QB, is Rodgers $60 million better than this potential QB?
Well, it's not 60 if you took a pay cut, though. It'd be less.
But not much because it's, dead cap is the guarantee that we already pay. So at minimum, it's still going to be like 50 million next year.
Well,
and I think
a couple things, though. One, you could spread it out over 2 years. I'm not even convinced it would be that much. Like some of the cap people that I've spoken to, it's like it would be a completely different contract. And also, like with the cap going up every year and the Jets likely having a rookie quarterback starting for them in 2026, I'm not as concerned about like salary cap. You know what I mean? Like you could deal with it. It's not it's not to me worth completely downgrading at quarterback in 2025, which feels like they're now going to do.
I mean, I think that's fair. That being said, I still just like I really like the QBs next year. I think this class, I wouldn't even like take a QB before rounds 5 probably. I'm just punting on this year in terms of like the draft. But what I definitely would do is like put us in a position to build as strong of a team as possible for our rookie next year. We're going to be looking at like around 25 million in cap space, a little bit higher than the 20 million we would have had. So that gives us some flexibility. We just fill in some holes we don't have. And honestly, you might hate me for saying this, but if the Falcons cut Cousins, and I'm not a huge Cousins fan, but I think we can do what the Steelers did with Russell Wilson and sign him to a vet minimum. And to me, a vet minimum with Cousins is just better than like that inevitable big cap hit coming in with Rodgers. I'm like
dealing with a big cap hit with Rodgers this year, so you might as well play. Yeah. You might as well play for you. That's my point. If you're playing as Kirk Cousins, just bring back Aaron Rodgers on a reduced contract.
Yeah, but that would work for this year. It's about the dead cap coming in the following years.
The dead cap is not going to prevent the Jets from being able to field a good team. Denver just dealt with an $80-something million dead cap. They made the playoffs. Knicks is on a rookie contract. Rodgers would be gone after 2025, and you'd have a rookie on a rookie contract in 26.
But I think we can still use that cap next year to get a lot more free agents, a lot bigger ticket free agents to help us out and help our incoming rookie, hopefully, next year.
You could do both. I don't understand. Like, who are you signing that they wouldn't be able to sign in your scenario? Kirk Cousins is your suggestion? Like, come on, man. You're not going to win any more with Kirk than you would some of these other terrible options. Rodgers is better than Kirk Cousins. He was better this year.
Yeah, but I don't think he's $60 million better than Cousins this year.
He wouldn't be, though. That's the point. It would have to be on a pay cut, which he has said that he was open to doing. And even Schefter said if he was back, it'd be on a different contract. So clearly there were talks, at least initially, on how open are you to redoing your deal, and Rodgers told him he was.
But the pay cut still doesn't affect the dead cap, though, and
It
that's
does.
really
If
my
it's a new
issue.
contract, the dead cap hit of $63 million in 2026 would not be that. It'd be a lower number.
But how much lower? Because it's still
It
like
depends how much less he would take. I don't know what he would agree to.
because the floor is $50 million next year. That's like what we already paid as of right now.
But they're
That's
on the hook
floor.
for $49 million anyway. So if it's $50 million in 2026 spread out over 2 years with the cap going up every year, fine, so be it. Deal with it. They dealt with 50-something million on their cap this year that was dead money, thanks to the void years and Carl Lawson and Zach Wilson and all the Dalvin Cook, all these guys that are impacting their books this year. And we all felt like they had the most talented team they've had in 15 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I still would just rip the Band-Aid off. I want to build like a powerhouse for one of these upcoming stud rookies. We got like Sellers coming out. We got a Nico. Next year, I think we can be competitive. Well, we can. Yeah. I mean, I don't think
14 years without the playoffs. You're talking about building a powerhouse. How about having a winning season? I'm trying to win games next year with the best option at quarterback.
I believe in the core of this roster. I truly do. We have a young core. We have some really good players. I think the Garrett Wilson stuff was overblown with his relationship with Rodgers. That being said, I don't know if their relationship was great. I still want to do everything to make him happy. And if there was even like a 10% chance that Garrett Wilson would be upset with Rodgers coming back, I'm still going with Garrett Wilson over Rodgers. I love Devontae. Seriously, Devontae's arguably one of my top 5 players of all time. It's going to be so sad to see him gone, but it still frees us up to like do other things. Like I don't think it's Rodgers or bust.
Other things though, man. You're not giving, like you suggested Kirk Cousins, other things like they're getting worse.
No, I don't think it's getting significantly worse because again, the cap has to play a factor. I am a bit thinking about 2026, but I also don't think the gap between Cousins and Rodgers was that big. And it certainly isn't as big as to the difference between how much either of them will cost.
What did Kirk Cousins are? 18 touchdowns, 16 interceptions?
Yeah, on a weaker team, but still, it's like he doesn't come with that big cap hit in 26. And we can just be so much more active in free agency in 26. Is next year probably not going to be a playoff run? Yeah, but I still think we can be competitive. I don't think it's like we have to blow it all up because we're moving on from our 41-year-old QB. I just simply don't. We still have Brees, who, I mean, I don't think we should trade Brees at all. If anything, maybe we trade him 2026 after we slap a franchise tag on. But we still have Brees. We still have Garrett Wilson. We got Sauce Gardner, who has doubled down on Aaron Glenn. Did you see that interview like earlier today? Him talking about Aaron Glenn?
Great. I don't think, but that was also before Sauce knew Rodgers wasn't coming back. And I know Sauce and Rodgers were close. I'm sure he's not thrilled with that.
Yeah, but we still have this core nucleus that I think it's not like the other rebuilds where we are coming in with absolutely nothing.
You're making the point for me why they should keep Aaron in that scenario. Because
talent
here.
No, that hinders us.
It doesn't hinder you. It gives you a chance to win and actually take advantage of this core. Now, you're going to go another year next year without the playoffs, and you're going to have to decide on keeping some of these guys. They're going to be gone by the time this team is ready to actually win with a young quarterback.
I'm not convinced that Rodgers will get us to the playoffs next year anyway, because he is going to be another year older.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers gives the team the best chance to win among the available options that are there? Realistic options that are out there. Do you believe Aaron Rodgers gives you the best chance to actually, best case scenario, be in the playoffs next year? Yes or no?
I can't say yes because we're coming off of a 5-win season.
Who's better?
It has to. I just can't look at next year in a bubble. I have to play in the cap situation going forward, and I think it's better long term.
I can't do it with it's better if they do this. Like next year, does Aaron Rodgers give you the best chance to win? The answer is clearly yes. So I'm not worried about the cap when I have a rookie starting for me in 2026 and the cap goes up every year. Like, I'm trying to win, man. I'm not worried about the cap and this and that when the guy's going to redo his deal. I once again, I asked for the alternatives. He suggests Kirk Cousins. Like, really? You guys complain about Rodgers' lack of mobility, which, by the way, he proved he still has a little more than anyone realized the last game of the year when he was healthy. And you're going to talk about Kirk Cousins, who looked absolutely shot this year. Garrett says, hope is the worst four-letter to us Jet fans. It never ends, man. Look, I truly hope that the Jets surprise me and everyone who's not thrilled with this with a great season next year. I don't see it. I think this signals that we're in for a 4-win season. That's my frustration. When will this ongoing nightmare end? It never ends. It just keeps getting better. And, of course, this happens on Super Bowl Sunday. Nice little FU that, the Jets will never be playing on this day, but instead we'll talk about jettisoning a guy who gave us the best season a quarterback's had for this franchise in a decade. Great. But we had to move on. Had to do it. Why? Why are we creating a hole at quarterback when we don't have to yet? He could be the bridge for a year. And if you fall out of it, you tell Aaron Rodgers, hey, we're drafting someone on day 2, and if we're out of contention, that guy's going to play. Tyrone, can't wait to hear Joe B. I haven't even texted Joe yet because I'm sure he's livid. Julio says he's predicting Brees a major rebound year. I'm sure he is. Or I'm sure you are. I hope you're right. Julio, Glenn focused on aggressive defense and running. Yeah, the defense can't be worse. There's talent on the defense. I think whether you're pro this move or not, I think every Jet fan should agree there's real talent on the defense. Mr. Biss, good riddance, Rodgers, delay in the inevitable, keeping him. We likely won't make the playoffs regardless, whether or not he stayed. All right, great. Well, guess what? You're throwing away next year already. I'm not, because I think they could make the playoffs next year. Peter Castro, more stupidity. Yeah, that's what they do. James is next. Hey, James.
Jake, what's going on, man?
What's up, James?
Nothing. Forgive me. I'm gonna try and keep it clean, but listen. I don't know this guy, Jets West. I don't know how long you've been fans for, but I'm sick of this bullshit. I'm sick of this. He's our best chance to win. There's no other option here. 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. His year was not as bad as people that aren't paying attention are saying, okay? If it wasn't for Zerline, if it wasn't for a couple other mistakes, we could have been maybe a 10-win team, at least a 9-win team. He is our best chance to win this coming year. Everyone's talking about how they like the hire of Aaron Glenn. So why wouldn't you like to pair Aaron Rodgers with that? Instead of now we're shot. Jordan Travis can't sniff the field, okay? There's no one to draft. Not in my opinion anyway. So what are they doing? I don't get it. It's the same old shit every single year. It doesn't make sense. I'm sick and tired of it. I thought they were trying to read the feel of the Jets fan. This isn't reading it, in my opinion. All right? This is not reading it. Let's go get Kirk Cousins, who, like you just said, is a statue beyond statues. Let's bring him in for a bridge. I'd rather Tyrod Taylor. But this is shot.
Tyrod's my choice. Like, I'm not thrilled with this, but Tyrod, I think, is the week 1 starter. He's on the team.
This is absolute. This is shot. This is shot. I'm just absolutely done with this. Obviously, I'm gonna watch. Obviously, I'm gonna go to games, and that's the problem because I keep doing it like so many other Jets fans, and we support no matter what. But this is bullshit. I love the hire. I do. I wanted Vrabel, but I love Glenn. You know, not a career Jet, but a long-time Jet, and he wants to be here. That's awesome, and I'm happy. I like the Rick Spielman hire. I like a bunch of other stuff that they did, but this just deflated the sales, absolutely deflated the sales. And I am not happy. I'm over it. I got to run. Thanks for letting me come on, man.
James, I appreciate it. I saw a classic Ted U. Tear it down to the studs. Ted, there's nothing you would love more than a 4-win season. You love it because you just love losing. All right. I see it on you. All right. I smell it from Florida. All right. I can smell it here. You stink. You want just that odor of losing. You need it. You live for it. It's gross. It's gross, man. Be nice to win games, but that's not going to happen. It's not. This team is not going to be very good next year. If you accept that, maybe I'll start to be able to deal with it better. We're punting on 2025. They won't say that. That is what this move tells you. Connor Long writes in, I'm going to ignore the question about the Mike Connor because I'm not going to bore the audience with that. Let's be real. This isn't an all-in year. They have many holes. Connor, they have the same amount of holes most teams have. All right? No roster's perfect. You bring up tight end, defensive line, safety, wide receiver. You're creating a hole at wide receiver and quarterback. You keep Rodgers, you'd have Devontae back. So of your 5 holes, 2 of them you just created today for no reason. Defensive line. Well, you know what? They have the 7th pick of the draft. Draft Mason Graham. Loaded tight end class. Boom. Let's take a tight end in round 2. Problem solved. Let's sign a safety in free agency. Aaron Glenn's a DB. I'm sure he could pick out a good one. Like, let's not act like this team doesn't have talent. If they got competent quarterback play and the coaching, which was the biggest issue this past year, was maybe a positive and not a detriment, they could fight for a playoff spot. Now I don't see it. Jets West writes in, Rodgers had the 3rd lowest completion percentage over expected. My point was, I think we could replace that next year and not take a $60 million cap hit. And my point to you is, I don't believe it'd be a $60 million dead cap hit. I believe that number would come down in a restructured deal. You know, it's interesting. All these people who cite numbers. I had a guy in Thomas Dimitrov on the show who said he watched every snap and he thinks Aaron could play for another year or 2 years at a high level. Rex Ryan on TV today, interviewed for the Jet job, said there's no doubt Aaron could still play. It almost feels like this was like the owner basically influencing the decision. Hattie says, you say you want Woody to let someone come in and run the show, and he does that, and you're mad. Once again, Hennessy, these are 2 separate things here. I didn't want Woody Johnson making this decision. I wanted the football people to make it. That doesn't mean I'm not going to sit here and agree with it. I don't. There's a difference, though. So don't tell me that I have to sit here and see how it plays out. That's not how this works. I do this show every day, 365 days a year, talking about this football team. I can't just say, let's just see how it plays out. I have to give an opinion, otherwise no one would watch. I can't just pick, I don't agree, but we'll see. That'd be a pretty boring show. I don't think 41,000 of you would subscribe if I just said, well, we'll see if it works. No. I hope it works. I thought Zach Wilson was going to be good too. How'd that work? So I've been wrong many times. I hope I'm wrong about this. I don't think moving on from Aaron Rodgers when there's no obvious upgrade out there that you could make makes sense. That's my point. More of your calls before we wrap. Tristan's next. Hey, Tristan. Tristan?
Ooh, there it is. Mic's on. How you feeling?
Not good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too good either. And I know Frank the Tank is happy. You know, after I lost connection that day when I was absolutely grilling him, and then the coaches basically went out and agreed with him. I don't see another option. I don't see a way out of this. I mean, I see another 6 to 9 win season of general excitement where we're maybe in it towards the end and they're finding 15 different ways that we could make the playoffs, but we shouldn't even be in that position. But there's something to be said about the continuity and the happiness of the young core that everybody keeps talking about. We have a young core. We have a young core. This young core has the option to re-sign their contract. And I'm sorry, if you were at a job and I was at a job and me and you had a conversation and we said, this company is cool, but it's going nowhere and we have offers from other people that want us, what are you going to do? You're going to leave. You're going to find somewhere else to live. Somewhere else to go. We players from colleges that had success, they're used to winning. They're not used to this. Quentin Williams is not used to this. Jermaine Johnson in his 1 year at FSU is not used to this. Sauce Gardner is not used to losing.
Actually, here's
Garrett
the problem,
Wilson.
Tristan. They are used to it. That's all they've known now. That's all they've known, and this is a move that does not show me that they're serious about trying to win next year. So they're going to continue to deal with losing, and then you're going to have guys who are unhappy, and it's going to lead to it's going to be a huge problem. Like Aaron Glenn better establish this culture quickly, or guys are going to check out very quickly.
But it's going to be an exodus because they can. We're running into an optional contract years for a lot of these guys where we can't franchise tag everybody. That's basically what I was saying. And if you look around and everybody's like, I could get out of here, you could get out of here, you could get out of here, why wouldn't they leave? What's causing them to resign if they're in high demand? And they will be.
Well, money. I mean, if you pay him, guys, Quinnen's an exception because he's already been paid. But anyone that's on a rookie deal, they're going to take the money on an extension. That's just how it goes.
You don't think Garrett will test the free market? You don't think Sauce will test the free market?
They're under contract for 2 more years. I don't care what they want right now.
Oh, I didn't know that was the number. I thought we were headed into the final year of those contracts right now.
No. 2 more years. They can pick up the 5th-year option on them. They got 2 more years. Devin is up next. What's up, Devin?
Oh, what's up, Jake? How you doing, bro?
Another day in paradise. Devin, how are you?
Hey, man, gotta put on the glasses, bro. I'm all right, man. So, I was on record as like, I'm with the keeping of Aaron Rodgers. I do believe he does provide the best alternative for us at quarterback. But I got a couple of points. So I had to write them down. So I always forget. First thing I want to say is we're in good hands in the Jets' future with Connor Long. That young man, if you agree or don't agree, he has a good perspective in terms of putting an argument together. So that was very insightful. I liked his perspective. But one of the things I want to say as well is that if we go with Rodgers next year, right? Say we make the playoffs. Then we have another issue. The other issue is going to be people are going to say, well, let's run it back one more time with Rodgers. Since we make the playoffs with him, let's do that again. So then we're putting off the inevitable in another year. My other perspective was that I want to wait to see what the vision is for Glenn. I think these guys are very cognizant of what it is of the landscape for the Jets, and I don't know if I want to see what their plan is. I said to myself, like, regardless of this decision, I had my own thoughts on it as to whether or not I wanted to have Aaron come back, Rodgers, that is. But I also said that regardless of it, I'm gonna stand firm because at the end of the day, I'm a Jets fan. And Jake, I'm gonna make you a bet. I was thinking about you. I've been thinking about you a lot, but I think about you all the time because I'm listening to your show. But they're building a Chipotle down the street from me, bro.
Wow.
I was telling my wife how you are the expert as it comes to Chipotle and your points that you still have or whatever. I remember that episode when you were talking about that. So I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to make you a bet that come preseason, you will have visions for the Jets making the playoffs, and I will Venmo you Chipotle. And before that, and at that bet, by the time you're saying that, remember, you're going to say by preseason. I'm saying this is what I'm saying.
What
By preseason, you're going to say
you'll
have visions of us.
Yes, you're going to predict them to go to the playoffs next year.
You'll say I think we can make the playoffs. I think the Jets can make the playoffs this season. You will say that by preseason.
I mean, of course they could. It's but like
no. But you're gonna say it with confidence. You're not gonna say it like, well, if this breaks and if this breaks and this breaks. You're gonna say based off of what this GM and coaching have done in this offseason, I do believe we will be making the playoffs this year.
I can tell you what the vision I see right now, Devin, is 4-13, no playoffs for the 15 straight year. I mean, that's what I see right now. Tell me I'm wrong. It smells like a 4-win team. Oh, it smells terrible. Bryce Huff, by the way, inactive for the Super Bowl. Has there ever been a transaction where both teams completely screwed the pooch? But here's how good the Eagles are. Their high-priced free agent add on the defensive line could be inactive for the Super Bowl, and they still have the best defense in the league. Meanwhile, the Jets move on from Bryce Huff, sign Hassan Reddick, and everyone watching has the same amount of full sacks that Hassan Reddick had as a Jet. Great move. More calls right now. Rob is up next. What's up, Rob?
Jake, let's all clap to the Asmaniacs who wanted Aaron Rodgers gone.
Well, they got their wish. Let's get ready to hopefully say that they were right and we were wrong. I hope it happens.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Neil should go into the hole. I think these other guys should be going into the hole, not Neil, because I'm smelling, like you said, 4 wins max, because they don't even know how to tank the right way. So let's be honest. They're going to win maybe 4 games, and then they're going to pick, like you said, 6th or 7th. They're going to miss on probably the two best quarterbacks coming out next year. So what you're essentially doing is you're punting with the season, because I do not think Tyrod is going to stay healthy the whole entire year. If he stays healthy, he is a good quarterback. Could they possibly make the playoffs? But now you also lost Devontae. So now you're down to one wide receiver because Lazard is going to be gone. Devontae's gone. And I don't even know, did they are they going to re-sign Conklin, or does he have one more year left in his deal, Jake?
Conklin's a free agent.
They don't even have a tight end.
No, they have to redo the tight end room. They had to now redo the entire wide receiver room besides one guy, because Devontae's not going to be here. And they need to sign another quarterback.
This is the reason why, Jake. Honestly, I didn't want Aaron Glenn. I really didn't. I mean, you know what? More and more and more and more, they should have signed probably a guy like McCarthy. Because you know what?
They didn't even interview him. They didn't even
interview him. I know. You're right. But you know what? A guy like McCarthy is familiar with Aaron Rodgers. They won a Super Bowl together. The guy averages 12 wins a season. No, let's not do that. Let's build up the culture. And Aaron Glenn, oh, he's ballsy. Oh, applause for him.
Well, he's making it harder to do it. He's making it like it's great that we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You're not gonna win shit unless you have a quarterback. You created a hole for a year for no reason.
It's amazing how people
you could have just had Aaron for one more year. If it didn't work out, fine. You still would get your chance to pick your quarterback. But if you want to establish your culture, guess what? You would have the opportunity to do win games and maybe end the playoff drought like Buffalo did with McDermott before they then traded up to then get Josh Allen.
It's amazing how people are okay with wanting to suck next year, because that's what's going to happen. I got news for you. Unless Tyrod stays healthy the whole entire year and we ride him and he's a decently good quarterback, I'm not going to say he's a bad quarterback.
Let's hope it fits in 2015. If Tyrod could have that kind of year with the team around him better.
That's the only thing, Jake, because if you're resorting to a Cousins or you're resorting to any of these other guys on the free agent market right now, we can list them. We can go through the whole list, which is not necessary because they're basically a joke, and then now they're promoting this guy Hendon Hooker. Come on.
Yeah, shoot me in the face, Rob, if they trade for Hendon Hooker. I'm done. Can't do it. More calls right now before we wrap. Let's say hello to Philly Noodles, who is thrilled today, I'm sure. Hello, Philly. Congrats on your big win.
It's a sad day that we had to move forward from him, but it is what it is. I told everybody, I'm not. It's not one of those bragging things, but it's like the blood was in the water when Newman got replaced real quick for a Muji interview, is because they saw what Muji did just with Denver, who punted their quarterback away with a check, brought in a rookie, and they said, who the hell is Bo Nix? What's going to happen with a Bo Nix? I don't know. A playoff run happened. So who are we to say that it can't happen when Glenn has been a part of shit teams that have transversed themselves to reality the next seasons to 2 seasons later? It's not a tank. I don't understand everybody's logic. How is it a tank? I need to know. Like, where's the tanking coming from? If 5 wins with Aaron throwing 28 TDs was the best reality at that moment in time, which was this past season, then what? What is 6 wins with a different quarterback? The Holy Grail? Like, so we need, if our limits was Aaron being that good on 5 wins, I don't care if a quarterback comes in and gives me 15 touchdowns with 10 interceptions and wins me 10 games. Because I just won 10 games, which is better than 5. I don't understand the logic of losing. If you want to lose, cool beans. Let Aaron beat the Jaguars, who couldn't beat a fucking stick on a pole.
I want to win, Philly Noodles. I want to win.
They suck.
Right, and I want to win games, and Aaron Rodgers is the best option to do it.
My bad, Jake. He beat shitty teams this year. And he showed up for
the Jets
2
were not a good. The Jets were not a good team, Philly. They had no coaching. You're not talking about the coaching.
So now it's the coaching
Stop
fault.
just talking about Aaron Rodgers and bring up Greg Zuerlein, the fucking defense.
I did.
And the
I did all
coaching,
season.
Philly. No,
I did all season.
No,
I couldn't take it anymore.
Only putting
You
it
can't
on
keep
Aaron
blaming the
Rodgers
kicker.
as if he's the only reason why this team that we all watched won 5 games. Give me a
The
break.
kicker cost 2 games. That would put us at 7 wins. That's still not even playoffs. So what are we complaining
now
about?
Now do the defense.
Do the defense. Can I do the pick sixes that were let up?
Now
the guy
do
blew
the
the game in
defense.
Minnesota. He blew the game.
Philly, he's not
multiple
perfect.
times, bro.
He's still their best option.
No,
He's not
dude, we don't know
perfect.
what the best option is until we
I do
exhaust
know. He
the
was on the
preseason.
team. He was on the
No,
team.
no, man. Everyone's delusional with that shit. You gotta let it go,
What do
bro.
you mean no? So who's the better option?
Where is he
Philly?
going to go right
Mr.
now to
I
make?
know all.
He's
can
not a
find
franchise
quarterback.
QB
Oh, I could get someone
anymore, bro.
that could-
He's not a franchise QB anymore. He
He's a
doesn't give you a
bridge
5-year window with a
quarterback.
contract
Philly,
to bring in more
repeat
players,
after
bro.
me. Bridge quarterback. That's what he would be here for one more year while you figure out in 2026 in the first round what you're doing.
That's the money, bro.
What do you, the money? As if the money is detrimental in any way when he takes
And
a pay cut to come back.
Jake, I don't want to see the Zach Wilson shit because that makes me believe with shitty quarterback play, I get 7 wins back-to-back years.
Goodbye. You're a fucking, excuse my language. I'm so tired of this. You are a fool. You're a fool. You're going to try and now argue that Zach Wilson was better than Aaron Rodgers? Watch the games, Philly. I mean, give me a break, man. Who's the better option? I don't know. That's my point. There isn't. No one's saying Aaron Rodgers is perfect. He's not. He was really bad in some games this year. We all watched it. He's a bridge quarterback. God, man. Let's just be awful. Let's just continue to suck. Why not? I hope Philly and all these people that want Aaron gone, I hope you guys are right. I just think we are so quick to get rid of this guy. And you have no alternative that is any better. None. Talking Jets with Tigo is on the line. Hello, Tigo.
What's going on, Jake? I don't think people like the Phillies of the world really are understanding the full ramifications of what we're about to go through. Because Quinnen is the only one to tweet about it. But we were having reports and rumors that Garrett Wilson was going to request a trade before Aaron was gone. And let's not act like we were going to re-sign Breece Hall. He's a running back. Running backs don't get a second contract. And if you're Sauce and you just look at what Patrick Surtain did on a well-coached team and the contract that he got, are we not going to, if you're those guys who are not going to ask for a trade? You've been here for 3 years, 4 years, 5+ years, some of these guys. Like, I think people are looking at it as, oh, yeah, this is a really well-built roster. Yeah, it was. And we were good coaching and a kicker away from possibly having 10 wins. So next year we could have done the same thing. So what happens when this is the thing that I hate that we're going to get to this, but it's just going to be, well, in 2 weeks' time when we get the Garrett Wilson has officially requested a trade, when he's wearing a Houston Texan jersey, it's going to look real weird. Because why is he going to stick around? He's had 9 quarterbacks in 3 years. We're going to give him another 3 in 2025? It's just the fact that people keep harping in on 2026. We're going to have no money in 2020. What are you talking about? The cap went up 13% last year, and that was before we added 2 more European games this year, and that's before we added 2 more European games next year. The cap goes up. It continuously goes up. And there's like, oh, but we're going to operate close to the cap. Yeah, so do the Kansas City Chiefs. They're at negative cap space this year, and they're in the Super Bowl. You know who else operates really close to the cap? The Philadelphia Eagles. You're allowed to operate close to the cap for a year or two. Like, and now the plan of get to 2026, that was the goal. That is all we needed to get to 2026 becomes incredibly hard because
I agree. And by the way, I didn't even see this. So Quinnen Williams had the thumbs down tweet, and he also quote tweeted Boy Green and wrote another rebuild year for me, I guess. Like I'm telling you from what I know and talking to people, this is not they're not happy in the locker room that Aaron's gone. They're not.
Not at all. And now we're going to start seeing these rumblings and these reports, and it's just going to be like, oh, Sauce is unhappy that Aaron Rodgers is gone. Him and his camp are talking about maybe maneuvering a move to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's just like, of course he is. Of course they are.
Yeah.
And then
I love
I
all the
hate
people
this.
saying all these guys could leave too. Great. Like it just speaks volumes that it's the wrong move. Like it's you created a hole when you didn't have to. You had time. You had a quarterback who was competent, who wanted to be here, who players in that room like and respect. It would have been very easy to bring him back for a year as the bridge, like Phillip Rivers was with the Colts, and go from there.
Aaron's going to win 10, 11 games next year with Pittsburgh, and it's just going to be like, well, could have been us.
Yeah.
Could have been us.
And then everyone's going to say, see what happens when you get real coaching. And I'm going to be like, yeah, that was the point. If Aaron Glenn's his coach, they should, I don't know, keep Rodgers for a year.
Yeah. So that was really it. I just wanted to, for all the people that are pro Aaron is gone, it's just like, so like you're pro Brees being gone and Garrett being gone and Quinnen being gone and Sauce, like, because they're all going to leave. They're not going to stay. Why would they? Why are you going to stay on a team that has never had a positive season? Garrett came from Ohio State. That's a winning culture. Now you come to the Jets, 9 quarterbacks in 3 years? Come on.
It's frustrating, Tigo. You make good points. I agree with you. I don't know. I think it's so short-sighted. We got to establish our culture. Also, if you're on hold and you already were on the air, leave so other people can get in. Like Purple Vault Mike, who's been spamming that he hasn't been able to get in the room yet. More of your calls. We're going to have to start to wind down here. Let's say hello to Party with Peg and Artie.
Hey, Jake, how you doing? This is a bad day, man. This ain't a good day. I'm actually kind of shocked at how many people are willing to send this guy off like he's some sort of fucking bum. I mean, he didn't look. Who cares if he wants to throw to his guys? He looked great doing it in the last game of the year. I mean, look at that. Do people forget? Don't anybody remember how he felt the day he was on Pat McAfee's show? Don't you remember? We had a sense of pride. We had a sense of hope. All that is fucking gone today. I don't know what the plan is these guys have. I mean, I like the hires. I think they have, I gotta believe they have some sort of idea what they're doing. They've been through rebuilds themselves. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. That's all I can do. But I mean, I am not happy about this. They're treating Aaron Rodgers like he's some sort of bum, and it's bullshit.
I agree. I mean, I don't see how this makes you a better team. Already, good call. I think most Jet fans wanted them back, by the way. I do. We did polls on this show before. And we'll see. I threw one up here. You know, it's a little informal. I should have done it at the beginning of the show, but we had tech issues. Are you happy the Jets are moving on from Aaron Rodgers? You can vote in our informal poll here. 1189 says, Rodgers is a god on Jake's show. If you don't like my opinion on Aaron Rodgers, it's very easy to watch a different show. You know, no one's forcing you to watch this show. All right? I will be fine with or without you. Well, what you are going to get on this show, because it's called the Jake Asman Show, is my honest opinion on the team we all root for. And that will not change. We're not just going to be pro-Jets because I'm a fan of the Jets. More of your calls here. Gary is on the line. Hello, Gary.
Establish a culture. I love me a good buzz phrase. That means absolutely nothing. Let's establish a culture. Means nothing.
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it be established. I'm pumped.
I love me a good buzz phrase. Let's trust the process. All gas, no brakes. Let's just throw all the buzz phrases out there because that's going to win us games. Look, I'm not trying to. Someone, I think it was Connor mentioned Jarrett Stidham from Stephenville High School. Like that's an answer. Oh my God. Kirk Cousins. He's more shot than I know he's younger, but Cousins is more shot than Rodgers. Like these are someone suggested tanking for Lenora Sellers in 2026. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like, look, I'm not the biggest Rodgers guy, but until someone can give me a name of a quarterback who gives you a better chance to win that can realistically be on this roster, the answer is Rodgers. Like, guys, I'm not the biggest Rodgers guy. I think his best days are well behind him. I think he's
the Jets are making me have to agree with you. I hate you. I don't hate you. I love you. I don't want to agree with you. You give me no choice, Jets. I have to agree with Gary on something. God, I hate this franchise. I hate him.
Jake, the question from now on, if anyone is for this, the question is, give me the name of the quarterback. And the answer is not nobody, or anybody. Give me the name of the quarterback that you want to line up under center that gives us a better chance to win. If you don't have one, then you can't be for getting rid of Rodgers, because you're saying that's the guy that gives us the best chance to win. I'm not the biggest Rodgers guy. I think his best days are way behind him. But until you can answer that question, who gives me a better chance to win? The answer is Rodgers. We have to go Rodgers. Like, it is what it is.
And like, what's the harm in him?
Chessboard.
Right? Like, what's the harm in bringing him back for 1 year as a bridge? Like, you can't establish the culture with Aaron Rodgers. I don't believe that. His teammate Quinnen Williams loves the guy. He knows how bad it could be without Rodgers. Like, it's crazy to me, man. It really is.
Someone put in the chat said better chance to win what? To win football games on Sundays. Who gives us give me the name of the quarterback that you want to put under center. And don't say something stupid like Pat Mahomes. Don't say anything stupid. Give me the name that we could realistically have that gives us a better chance to win football games on Sunday than Aaron Rodgers. If you have a good one for me, I'm open to it, but I haven't heard one yet. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't have an answer to that question. It's not Justin Fields. It's not Kirk Cousins. We're not getting Darnold. Like, it's not Jackson Dart. It's not any of those guys. I promise you, it's not. If you want to draft Dart in the second round, go ahead and do it.
I have an idea. You tell me if you think this could actually work. All right. What if the Jets start Brock Bowers at quarterback?
Did somebody say Brock Bowers?
Well, I mean, I said realistic. Well, that would probably be the case because he just, turn into Superman. We don't have Brock Bowers. We did have Aaron Rodgers, which we could have used. You guys got to give me a better name. You got to give me a better move on the chessboard than Aaron Rodgers because I don't have one.
No, they're punting on next year. They don't care about how they do. They're like, we have another year. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah, that tank's working out great for my Nets. They're gonna draft like 9th. Tanking doesn't work. It's not. I don't want to hear the T word. We don't use that word here. You go to play and win football games on Sundays. That's it. And Aaron Rodgers gives you the best chance of any quarterback that we can foreseeably get. It is what it is. Tyrod Taylor
say no, they're not happy. The Jets are moving on. 46 say yes. I'm actually surprised it's even that close. No's winning, but I thought it'd be by a greater margin. But
okay, Allen, 7-10 with Rodgers. Maybe. Give me the quarterback that you're going to win 8 games with.
Or maybe 10-7 with Rodgers, like what Justin Herbert just did with Harbaugh, with real coaching after being a 5-win team.
Quarterback that's going to win more games this year than Rodgers. And he's going to say Sam Howell or something ridiculous. It's going to piss me off because the answer is not Sam Howell, right? Like, Rodgers, I don't think he was great. He wasn't horrible. You keep showing the stats. He's by far the best quarterback we've had in years. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl, but right now he still gives us the best chance to win. I love Tyrod. Tyrod's going to be hurt by Columbus Day. And then what are you going to do? Can we just be real on Tyrod? He's going to be hurt within a couple of weeks. He always is.
I agree. I can't believe I have to agree with Gary, but that's what this franchise has do to me. Love Bite says 10-7 would ride. Love Bite, your comments always are just very condescending. We'll see you later. On average, 4 new teams make the playoffs that didn't the previous year. The Chargers were a 5-win team, and then Harbaugh got there. They were in the playoffs this year. There's plenty of other examples that I've used ad nauseum, but I just think you throwing away next year feels very silly. And that, to me, is what this move signifies, which is very frustrating. What is the reaction to the Rodgers news in Australia? Many of you are wondering. I might have the answer. Craig is in Australia, and he's next. Hello, Craig.
Mate, first things first. Are you okay? Are you going to be okay?
Yeah, I'm just laying it all out here. This is my therapy session for myself.
This is ugly, ugly, ugly situation. We're put in this position where both options don't look great. But if there's a continuum, then it's just still on the side of keeping him because, as Gary said, and I'm like you, I'm agreeing with Gary, who the hell are you going to have instead of him? Who? You ask these people and they don't have an answer. And
no one ever has an answer.
They don't have an answer. And my question is, who the hell is suggesting Kirk Cousins? Like, name these people. Who are they? Kirk Cousins.
What are them calling in? I don't know.
I can't get past it. On a positive note, the eagle has landed, or should I say the hawk has landed. And if anyone's wondering, and you know what I'm talking about, everything's going well, as far as I know.
Hey.
So he will be at the office hopefully later, and we will watch the Super Bowl. I'm on the way to the OR now to get a case out of the way early, and then hopefully be back in time. So
What
so
time
far
does the
so
Super
good.
Bowl kick off in Australia, Craig?
10 o'clock, 10 a.m. So
Wow.
we have Super Bowl Monday morning, as opposed to Super Bowl Sunday.
That's incredible. Oh, I hope it's
So
a great game for you guys. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, man, it'll be all right. I'm not excited to see Kansas City for a third year in a row. Really, bit of variety would be nice, but it'll be good, and we'll see how we go. I'm going to jump out of the way to let some more callers, but take care, mate. Chat to you soon.
Craig, I appreciate it. Great call. Awesome job with the video of Hawk arriving in Australia the other night on Nick Shine's show. All right. More of your calls now. PBM, there's finally space to get him on. Hello, Mike.
Yo, I'm pissed because halfway through the season, 3/4 and after, I didn't want Rodgers, and then I was thinking about it, and I said, all right, if he does a pay cut, then I want him. And they had the chance to make the right decision, and they fucked it up. They fucked it up because they punted on 2025. So again, we have to see losing, and it sucks. I thought I was going to be all excited. We got a new head coach, new people in, and they fucked it up. All my excitement, gone. Pissed off. I'm back to not going to a game. I'm not buying any more Jet shit. I'm all pissed off. The slogan, we're built for this shit, we're not built for this shit because we can't take it anymore. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to go nuts. I don't know. I can't even look at anything green. Fuck Philadelphia because they got green jerseys. Oh, I can't take this anymore. I'm going crazy. Jake, I can't do this. We are going to win 3 games next year. Guaranteed.
Maybe. I don't know. Mike, by September, you'll have them in the playoffs. So take it easy, man. It'll be okay. I already know you, Mike. You were never going to be a Jet fan again. By September, you'll be trying to convince me they're going to the playoffs. But I feel your pain, man. I look, at one point, I didn't want Rodgers back either when he was playing awful in the middle of the year. And in the last 6 weeks, to me, he played well enough down the stretch where when you evaluate him versus the other options, it makes the most sense. Michael says, Jake, my 50th year as a Jet fan, the pain. Should have kept Rodgers for 1 more year. I agree. Jainier Rivera says, I'm not happy with losing AR8. He's the best quarterback I've seen play for the Jets, but we should have known AG being a Parcells guy, no superstar quarterback. So Parcells was once asked about that quote, and he wasn't anti-superstar quarterback. It was the celebrity quarterback. Parcells clarified. He's like, Peyton Manning's obviously a celebrity quarterback. Tom Brady, Drew Brees are celebrity quarterbacks. But they're all about the team. But people run with it like, oh, Parcells didn't want a celebrity quarterback. You really think Parcells wouldn't want Peyton Manning to be his quarterback? You could have had him if he just told Archie Manning you were going to take him 1-1. Kevin Hayes says, Jake, how about you marketing some Jake Asman paper bag headgear? Man, I don't even want – I want the team to win, Kevin. I do. I'm a Jets fan, man. I'm tired of the losing. Fire Aaron Glenn checks in. Fire Glenn, bring back Rodgers and Robert Saleh. Okay. I'm with bringing back Rodgers. This sucks. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. Thanks to everyone who's watching. There's still 800 of you in here on Super Bowl Sunday. You guys are awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we're 2 hours and 28 minutes in. And you know what they say? When you reach the 2 hour and 28 minute mark, there's only one thing you could do. You can unleash the beast.
You know what time it is? A beast breaker. 666.
Incredible.
Shove it up your ass, and then he
all right. Where do we go from here? Beast?
You know how pissed off I am? 20 shots at the goddamn wall. Just done it.
Beast.
He's a freaking disgrace. I love that man. Aaron Rodgers is my guy. And
Beast Breaker. 666 $50 will send his ass to the hole where there's no gabagool.
Beast, you were passionate, but the internet there, that was tough. Unreal. So it wasn't going to work. And unfortunately, I'm having now tech issues playing the video, so you guys can't hear it. I think you just see me normal on the screen. In my ear right now is the Beast Breaker theme song on a loop. So this is very hard to do a show as I'm hearing fart noises and Beast Breaker on a loop in my ear. Now, hold on 1 second. My friend Dan has arrived. I got to let him in, and I'll continue the show. Stand by. All right? Dan's a Jet fan. He's pissed off that they got rid of Rodgers, but I'm going to let him in. But first, before I let him in, I'm going to play my cameo on One Jets Drive.
Big news from Jets ownership. They have hired the 33rd team, which was founded by former Jets GM Mike Tannenbaum, to assist with the GM and coach search.
There is no alternative. It's terrible. Come over here. I've said the entire show. I smell the 4 and 13. You're talking to the mic. You know, there's 1,000 people watching you. Opine on the Jets.
3,100.
That's Twitter included.
Oh, okay. Are you live?
I'm live, yeah.
Oh, how we doing?
No one can see you. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
There you go. This is my friend Dan. He's a diehard Jet fan.
What's up, guys? Jets Nation out there. Tough day, I think. Really tough day. What are the alternatives? I think that's the open question. What are the alternatives at quarterback? Is it draft a guy? Is it you go out in free agency, short-term, stopgap, Jameis Winston-ness of it? I don't know. I wanted Rodgers back. I think it's the only option out there to give us a winning season next year. And now with Rodgers not coming back, unfortunately, as I've been saying, 4 and 13 for life.
You smell the 4 wins?
I can taste it.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. All right, a couple calls left that I got to run. I was not planning on doing an emergency stream today after 3 hours of radio, but the Jets are going to jet. Let's say hello to. Oh, you know what? I want to play his intro. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to try. I've been having major tech issues today. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe a soothing voice before we get ready for the Super Bowl here.
I got my Iron Uji. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake. Hi, Jake.
Hey, David.
Yeah, hey, it's going to be hard for me to be a little soothing, but I got Connor Long's back. I think he's got a good career ahead of him. He's a hard worker. As far as Aaron Rodgers, I'm very disappointed, and a lot of the air is out of my balloon right now. I can't really justify it if my opinion counts or whatever. But the bottom line is, and I know you you and your buddy want to watch the Super Bowl and all. When I got over to the Miami game in December to see Aaron Rodgers play in person, and I really didn't expect them to have a good game or him, and he did really well. And I was thinking that day, man, there's only a couple games left. If he does decent, he's going to be a lock for us for next year. So I don't know what else to say.
It's frustrating, David. I mean, you got to give a new regime a chance, and I will do that. But I think this is a huge mistake. They're not getting a better quarterback, at least next year, than Aaron Rodgers. I just don't see it. Can they be a better team without him? I guess maybe, but I think it's harder to do that now. You know, like Tyrod Taylor staying healthy for 17 games is not a real plan for me. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you know where the Jets missed the boat. They should have hired you as the common sense consultant in the front office, and I don't think we'd be here having this conversation today.
Well, I'll tell you what. I hope they're right on this. I really do. I appreciate you, David. Good call. Enjoy the game. All right.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, buddy.
All right. I don't have time to get to everyone on hold here, so I'm going to try and rapid fire through some elite as maniacs here before we go. I know where we need to go next. The Lane train is on the line. Lane, I'm not even playing your intro. We're getting right into it. Give us your thoughts on Rodgers leaving the Jets.
I knew it was gonna happen.
Did you?
I just can't believe how upset I am. I mean, how could they? I thought he was gonna sign enough for another year. This is what I look like when I'm not happy. It's rare you get the unhappy Lane, but
Sad.
you know, you know what? I mean, I could see him tagging on for another team next year after watching those the rest of the games in Miami. It's like, it feels like something's missing now. It's like, how do you feel? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like,
It's sad, Lane. It's very sad.
yeah. Anyway,
Who do you like in the game today, Lane?
I want the Eagles to win. I'm gonna have a beer soon. I'm having my nice chips with salsa.
Wow.
I pulled out the guacamole.
The guacamole? You kidding me?
I don't like the spicy salsa. I'm sitting. I actually got my. Okay, I'll show you my food. See, look how great that is.
Wow, what is that? That looks great.
Yes. So I actually have the wings in the oven already, so they should be ready soon. This whole and I'm looking forward to the commercials.
I'm excited too.
So anyway, what are you gonna do for the Super Bowl? Who do you want to win? Taylor Swift's team or the Eagles to win?
I think the Chiefs are gonna win.
Happy if they win.
I'm not really happy about it, but I think they're going to.
Yeah. Well, you're wearing the Eagles color, actually. I can't see any green right now. It's like reminds me of Aaron Rodgers. And the Jets should be in the Super Bowl right now, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. Maybe next year. But yeah, I actually like the Giants, so yeah, I mean, I hope they draft somebody for the Jets. I want them to bring back Todd Bowles or Bill Parcells.
I think Bill Parcells.
Yeah, but I don't know if he went. I think he's been coaching with Dallas actually right now. Let me see what I'm doing right now. I need my feet are gonna cramp up soon.
You go take a walk.
Yeah, I'm actually running right now. I'm practicing for next year.
You're practicing. Before I wrap up the show, Lane, give us a jog. Give us a little sprint.
I'm running. I'm running for the chips. Touchdown! I'm running for the chips. Oh, who am I in the Jets? I am Sauce Gardner. I score. I'm in training camp right now. Whew, it's hot out. Yeah, you want some water? Yes, I do want some water. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Lane Train.
Hi, how are you? Bruce Hall. That's good.
What a show, huh? What a show. All right, we're back to regularly scheduled programming tomorrow. Thanks to everyone who tuned in, everyone who gifted a membership, the super chats. Appreciate everyone who called in. Incredible. All right, I got to run. Appreciate all of you. We'll have more, I'm sure, develop over the next 12 hours, 18 hours. I'm live in the morning tomorrow, and we'll have more on the Aaron Rodgers of it all. Terrible. Anyway, thank you again for tuning in. I end today's show with a message. And that message is right here.
Hey, congrats on the sex.